All right, what are you irritated about?
So, two of the stars of the Twitterverse, Aaron Nagler, who, look, Cheesehead TV, what he and Corey Benke have accomplished,
they've done a great job,
is incredible. Another guy that I have a ton of respect for, who I think does a really good job, is Zach Cruz, who writes for the Packers Wire. Like, that is I read every day to be up to speed on this team, and I pay for my subscriptions. I read the State Journal. I mean, the things that I don't write because I already read them because I wrote them. I read the Gannett family.
I read, just for the record, I read your Sunday piece.
Thank you.
It was good. Why you didn't have Micah join our show, I'm not real happy about.
Because it didn't work with his schedule, and he is going to join us subsequently. Okay. He was traveling, so I got him in an airport for about 4 minutes. Fair. That was the interview, which would not have been good radio. So I read the Journal-Sentinel and the Press-Gazette. I read Rob Domofsky at ESPN.com, and I read Matt Schneidman in The Athletic. I think it's important to read everybody. But I also read Zach, who does a terrific job. So this morning... And look, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter these days. I've lost my zest for it, not just because of your guy Elon, but for a myriad of reasons. Look, Zach Cruz writes, interceptions are bad. Brett Favre threw a lot of them. I get Favre isn't beloved as a person anymore. But can we please stop with the Jordan Love as Brett Favre comp as a negative thing? Brett was a big game hunter. So is Jordan. It's risky, but it's fun as hell, too.
That's true.
No, it's a very good tweet. I want to make it clear.
Very true.
It's a very good tweet.
I also love the Favre on one shoulder, Rodgers on the other, and Jordan constantly looking. Like, the meme game within this has been fun. They got the buttons that you're
totally
hitting.
Agree.
Yeah, it's fun.
I am on your team on all of this. Here's my issue, and here's why I'm irritated. I don't think that, at least I can't speak for everyone, obviously, and I don't try to. But I don't think that we should romanticize Brett Favre gunslinger when we stop and pause and think of the number of back-breaking, gut-wrenching interceptions that this guy threw. And look, there's two fan bases that know this. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Okay? Here's why I think the comp is apt. And we played it on Friday. The conversation that I had with Jordan about testing boundaries, painting outside of paint by numbers, which he didn't know what it was.
It was really loud. I couldn't really hear it that well.
It was a loud that game that Colby Wooden and Preston Smith and
what
Jaden
game are they playing?
It's where they're facing each other and one guy moves one of four directions.
Oh, it's the swiper game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Swiper, no swiping. Yeah. It gets loud.
Yep.
Here's the thing. No one is suggesting that being a Pro Football Hall of Fame caliber player is a bad thing. No one is saying that.
I saw some tweets that did, but continue.
Well, again, those people don't deserve to be considered among the discussion.
Wow.
Well, if you think that being a Pro Football Hall of Famer is a bad thing, you're unserious. Wouldn't you agree?
I think you could say, I think you can have some nuance. I think there is some nuance in this
which is where I'm trying to get to here, if I may. Because this is why I'm irritated. Okay? How many tackles did you have in that Rams game again? 2?
I thought 3, but I think the score sheet only said 2. I also almost lost my retina.
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but I didn't know that. That was not part of previous versions of the story, so we'll have to get to that. The man threw 6 interceptions. If you were somehow going to beat the greatest show on turf, he gave you no chance to do so by throwing those interceptions. In 2007, you were on the precipice of the Super Bowl, and he throws the interception to Donald Driver in the waning minutes. You had been gifted more opportunities by, was it Lawrence Tynes that missed the field goals?
Correct.
You're in position to go win the game.
Yep.
Throws the picks. 4th and 26 would never have been known as 4th and 26 had he not thrown the pick at the end. Fair? You guys go in and score. Everyone's like, oh my God, can you believe they gave up 4th and 26? But hey, we're on to Carolina to play for a right to go to the Super Bowl. And obviously, our friends in Minnesota have experienced with the Super Bowl on the line, across his body, over the middle, picked off by Tracy Porter.
Well, we saw that in San Francisco last year.
We did. And so Aaron Nagler followed up on Zach followed up on Aaron's tweet. I like the fact, essentially, I'm summarizing here, that people are making it sound like they have to coach the Favre out of him. That part is exactly what they need to coach out of him. Those types of back-breaking mistakes. Now, are there times when risks obviously pay off? I totally think there are. And if we're going to take the bad and we're going to criticize the bad, our responsibility is also to say that 100-mile-an-hour fastball to Tucker Kraft for a touchdown was also Favre-esque. And it was a great throw that went
was
through
Rodgers-esque,
the defender's hands.
That was Rodgers-esque because they didn't get picked. Like, that's the game.
What my point is that let's be more nuanced about this, and let's acknowledge that Brett Favre threw a lot of back-breaking interceptions that you would like Jordan Love to avoid. Fair? Is that a reasonable thing to say?
It is, but I think to just putting this all in a box, Jordan Love is not a finished product. He is working through who he's going to be as a quarterback.
Sunday story about that coming.
You have to look at. See, I don't love the fact that you have your Sunday story already on this Sunday. Like, I don't think that's. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job.
A lot can happen.
But you're writing. You remember you used to get after everybody for writing the story and then trying to get a quote that fit the story. I'd hold off. A lot of things.
But I have the quotes already. I'm not getting the quotes for the story.
There's a lot of things that can happen over a week.
But I'm not asking.
Okay, I'm not getting into J. I'm not getting into J
school. You just told me you weren't going to tell me how to do my job.
Well, because I just know how much I know how much you despise when people would go to write a story and then beg for a quote, and you'd be like, there are plenty of times I would say, I don't think I got what you're looking for.
Yeah, I respected that about you.
So in this case,
not as much right now.
This story of you're throwing a lot of interceptions. Jordan Love is. He did not do that last year. Part of it is he's got a big arm. He wants to show it off. He wants to. Do you not want to see that throw to Tucker Kraft?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think when people are saying that, and look, I was not in LaFleur yesterday. I went to the locker room instead to change it up a little bit. I got to talk to Rashawn Gary about his previous lack of production and his production yesterday.
He had a day. Most days that's a big Steinhoff win.
Some might say that if he wasn't a first-round pick with a $96 million contract, he would have been your Steinhoffler, but the expectations are higher.
He was disruptive now.
He was, and they used him in a myriad of ways, which was great. My point is that I don't know the person who asked the question and framed it the way he did and then got the answer from LaFleur that he did about, so the talking heads can stop with the Brett Favre comparisons. No, I don't think any of us that are being smart about this discussion are suggesting that it's a blanket statement. It's bad that he is,
and by the way,
being compared to
Jesse
Brett Favre.
Jesse Poldis, is it an insult to be compared to on the field Brett Favre? Is it?
I don't think so, but I think if we're talking about the interceptions he's throwing, let's be honest. The interception from the back of the end zone that was a pick six that Matt Hamilton believes was a smart play to allow it to be only 6 points as opposed to potentially 9 points with a safety and then a touchdown, according to Matt Hamilton, was a Brett Favre boneheaded mistake. We agree, right?
I don't even know if I've ever seen Brett do that, if I'm being honest. I mean, I remember him throwing it to Amon or Ryan Grant, and I think we scored a touchdown on it. The little fumbling, stumbling, and flipping it up. And is it that? If you start looking around the league, it has always been about protecting the football, and it still is.
Uh-huh.
But take a look at who's leading the league in picks.
Yeah, he's tied with
Patrick Mahomes.
Now, Patrick Mahomes has played 2 more games.
That's true.
Jordan did miss 2 games. So he's on a little bit of a faster pace than Patrick Mahomes is. But no, look,
I just laugh now, and I said this on Green Bay game night last night. I laugh, and I don't know if I told Homer to bring this up when you joined. His memory's as bad as mine, so maybe he forgot. Do you all remember when we were begging Jordan to make some wow? Where's the wow throws? Now you got wows and you got woes. You got both. There's an abundance of it. It's none of it is the Charlie check down, any of that. That's not. So this is where Matt LaFleur and Tom Clements are going to earn their chops because Jordan is feeling a certain way, and I want him to be aggressive in the correct spots. And what the only reason the Minnesota game I still completely wiped out. Okay, I completely wiped out. Last week he threw one pick against a bad Cardinals team. It was not a great decision. Obviously,
Bo Melton fell down.
I understand, but it is what it is. It was a pick. I was actually thinking of the second throw yesterday, where he just threw it up and the safety just went and kind of plucked it. Bad decision. Bad decision in the Rams games. He's having too many games where it's like 3 or 4 bad decisions, right? And when you do that, you start wondering, oh, why are you doing that, and what are we going to do about that moving forward? But I want him to figure that out. I don't want him to go into protect. And the only thing that I'm irritated about yesterday, you're going to throw picks in this league. People are being more aggressive, more blitz package, more reads. It's confusing coverages. You have to understand what the game you need, what game plan, and what is being asked of you. Houston's offense stunk. And if you couldn't tell, I tweeted something in the middle of the second quarter. I knew Stroud was cooked. He didn't have any answers. It was 3rd and 6. It's over. I don't know where they're coming. They couldn't pass protect. They had no answer to block anybody. And Hafley was in his lab, just like everything he put out there it worked. Stroud had no chance yesterday. If he couldn't flush out to the right, he was going to get sacked or drilled. One of the stats that came up, I think he had 4 sacks, 10 hurries, and 5 knockdowns. I think he only threw the ball 18 times. That was more times than he actually dropped back to throw. He was rattled in a big way. Their offense, once Hafley decided to be a little more gap sound and say, well, we're not going to let these guys just keep pounding the football at us, make these guys get them to 3rd down, it's over. You have to understand what you need in a game. You don't give them a short field, they have no chance yesterday. So if you're playing a more explosive offense, you have to take maybe more chances. You have to understand the concept of what the game flow needs, and I didn't feel like Matt LaFleur had that dialed in yesterday, along with Jordan, to only run the ball 12 times with Josh Jacobs. There's a lot of stuff offensively that I didn't think was great yesterday. But on the flip side, we got it. How did Sandra Bullock say it? I finally got you one.
What, a defense?
Because it's here. It is here. And I think it's only going to get better.
Hafley got a game ball. Along with your Steinhoffel Sleeper of the Week winner, Brandon McManus.
We also had a caller last night call in and say the negative of the day. And I think they were doing Wilde Tausch positives and negatives, which, by the way, can't wait for our fans to get to.
Yep, we'll get to those.
That Jeff Hafley is so good that he's going to be a head coach next year. We're only going to get 1 year with him. That was honestly a negative. And I started thinking, and Homer and I disagreed on this, which you'd be surprised.
That never happens.
If this defense trends to get, let's say, 35 or 40 takeaways, and they are a top 5, top 3 defense in this league, I'd look seriously at hiring him.
Yeah, he's been a head coach before at the college level.
That's my point.
He's got experience.
So is that it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
A little premature, but not out of the realm of possibility. Yes.
100%. But you need, if I caveated it. I made sure to caveat because I know how sound graphs work. I caveated and said, if this
sound
is
graphs,
what,
we cut that out. The caveat, we cut it out, and then you look like a hot take artist. I think that's how we do it.
If this is what happens, yeah, I could see there's going to be a lot of openings, and you could tell this cat's a leader.
All right, so let's put a bow on this, since I started out venting, and then in a stunning turn of events, you took over the first segment anyway, and that was the end of my venting. It's fine.
Did you not get all your venting out?
I didn't. No, but you started telling me about journalism and how I have my Sunday story plan.
Stories. Yeah,
it's
I don't
not
like
pre-written.
That.
I had the conversation with him on
me.
Thursday. You heard it.
Don't get mad at me for you
heard
pre-writing.
the conversation.
Here's
my point. You can both appreciate what Jordan Love is developing his way through as a young, ascending franchise quarterback. we've been talking about testing boundaries for multiple weeks now, right? And yesterday we saw examples of both. We did. We saw the great part of it, the great Favre or Rodgers or whoever you want to compare it to, David Whitehurst, whatever, of the throw to Tucker Kraft. I mean, it goes through the defender's hands. If he closes his hands a split second sooner, it's an interception or a broken up pass or whatever it is. Instead, it's a touchdown. What I'm saying is, when we're making the comparison to Favre, the comparison is you have to eliminate some, not all, because you can't eliminate all, but some of the overly risky plays that Brett used to make. And when the game was on the line, and that's why I've said this 1,000 times, the interception he throws in San Francisco, the reason why it was a gut punch, not just because it ended your season, but it was because after watching him for the previous 10 games, you thought he was past those type of mistakes. Late, over the middle, across his body, into triple coverage. He's better than that. So for him to do that, that's why it was so stunning. If you can eliminate some but not all of those, we're fine. But my point is that just because we're comparing him to Favre doesn't mean that that's a negative thing. It means that there are some aspects to his game that you would like him to reduce, not eliminate, but reduce. Is that fair to expect of a quarterback they are trying to develop into the next Hall of Famer in their lineage?
It's fair, but I just, the idea that you're using Brett Favre's playing career as a big negative makes no sense to me.
I'm using the part of his career in which he threw 336 interceptions.
Yeah.
More than anyone to have ever played the game.
And he also threw more touchdowns than anyone except when Tom Brady passed him. Maybe
I don't
Peyton
know if he's second anymore. But
well, he was at one time, threw a slant route to Greg Jennings, and he was the all-time.
He did, carried him off the field in the fireman's carry. Whatever number Brett Favre is.
If Jordan Love's career goes as Brett Favre's did, are you going to be sitting here saying...
Of course not. It means he's won a Super Bowl. It means he's gone to a second Super Bowl. It means he's in the Hall of Fame. Right, and think back. Here's my issue. Think back to the window that, by the way, was your career.
Part of
Brett
it, yeah.
Favre won his Super Bowl in '96. Mm-hmm. You were on teams with him for the 4th and 26 interception, for the Giants interception, for that disappointment. You were also smiling when he did the same thing against the Saints for your arch rival Vikings. Those plays count to his career, too. And you'd have gone to a Super Bowl and actually played in it instead of being injured for Super Bowl 45.
That's a low blow by you.
It's not a low blow. It's not a blow to you. It's a blow to him.
So,
you had opportunities to get to a Super Bowl and play in it, and you didn't because, in part, your guy threw critical picks in critical moments.
Yes, but this is where you could get into this chicken and egg argument. We're not there without what he does. Like, it is what it is. I agree. There's decisions that were made that obviously sucked, and they were gut punches. Yes, we are not anywhere close to those positions if we don't have him.
I understand.
But sure
you still did. Is that the criticism of Aaron Rodgers in the back half of his Packers career?
What?
Does everyone say, well, we're not even close without him? The crescendo of complaints about his postseason record, which were not dotted with lots of interceptions, but just underwhelming play in some critical games. I don't hear anyone saying, well, we wouldn't have been there without him. I don't hear that.
The bottom line is you have monster expectations here, and the fact that Aaron Rodgers was here before Jordan Love, this is the first instance of, well, that's not what Aaron did. And for quarterbacks, young quarterbacks throw picks. Peyton Manning threw 28 his first season. He didn't set the Brett Favre all-time record. So he is not a finished product. The thing I said
totally
yesterday
agree.
is
that's the point of the Sunday story.
You need to continue to work and figure that out because, yes, you don't want him throwing picks in playoff games, and you don't want him throwing 20 picks a season, which is he's more than on pace to do. But it's a process, and not everything is just going to be perfect all the way. You see enough great stuff that you're excited about it, but you also don't want to just start acknowledging, because there was with Brett, it was, that's Brett being Brett. Mm-hmm. I don't think we want to be muttering, well, that's Jordan being Jordan.
That's exactly what you once again, you put it way better than I spent all that time, and you put it better. That's exactly what you don't want. Well, I will say this.
Get the look you want for your home, though, with customizable windows and doors from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You got to test stuff. You got to throw into tight windows, see if it gets picked. You got to test materials. You got to open and close doors and latches and shades. You got to do it tens of thousands of times to ensure that they last for years to come. And I have to be honest, I heard Gina sent us a text.
Yeah.
Every time we get a text from Gina, it's, all right, something big is brewing. And I thought it was just, was 0 interest for 36 months. No, through November 8th, it is 0 interest and 0 down. And can you believe that Gina's 60?
I don't believe Gina's
either.
60.
Are
I
you
think
sure?
She's lying.
I honestly was wondering if she 60th birthday coming up, so she decided to go 60 months of 0 down and 0 interest. But she looks so good right now. I don't think that she's 60. But the deal is the deal. 0 interest, November 8th, 0 down, minimum purchase $3,500. It does end November 8th. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
We'll get to your positives and negatives. We will do ours quickly, and then we will get to yours. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. More next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is
Wilde Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. After every single green and gold game,
you can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
There's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields.
At Fields, we have a great selection of Range Rovers, Defenders, and Discoveries. Every model in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery. Stop by or visit online.
Plus, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and gourmet coffee service, all at no charge. Integrity and customer satisfaction will always be the force that drives our business. To put it simply, Fields matters because you matter. At Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Muckwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
The Milwaukee Bucks preseason in the books, and now all eyes set on Wednesday's opener at the Philadelphia 76ers. Former Sixers head coach and now Milwaukee Bucks head coach Doc Rivers, entering his first full season as the Bucks lead man, discusses the advantages of having a full offseason as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks.
First of all, I can create my own staff, which is important. I think having the guys that you want around you matters.
It's Bucks and Sixers to open the NBA season Wednesday night, 6:30 tip, 6 o'clock pregame on our sister station, 620 WTMJ.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. What does your CPA do for you? We have signed on several new business clients who told us the same story. Does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. Not at the Neal Group. We usually return phone calls and emails the same day. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow, not just record history. Do you want to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit neilgroup.net to book a meeting to tell us your story and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait, do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
Stay safe on the roads with Rain-X Vision Beam Wiper Blades, now at Menards. For over 40 years, Rain-X has provided drivers with products to help them outsmart the elements. Rain-X Vision Beam Wiper Blades are easy to install and are designed to provide a smooth, streak-free wipe every time. Save big money on all Rain-X product, now at Menards. And don't forget to check out our flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Once again, old boy, concisely, which has never been my strong suit, sums it all up. You don't want to be saying, well, it's just Jordan being Jordan. Like we used to say, that's just Brett being Brett. It's perfect. You're exactly right. Tausch, what was your big positive?
Jeff Hafley in the defense and the pass rush, the fact that you just smothered and didn't let anything get moving through the passing game at all. And I know, their stud was out, but they couldn't block us at all. And the simulated pressures and the, showing one thing, it was the bizarro world Joe Barry game to me. It was, I don't have a clue what they're doing. There was too many times last year it was just, yep, here it is, up this. You don't need to show what you're going to do on everything. Do some different things and make your life easier. He did that yesterday, and I thought he was it was just a magnificent performance. It was, I'm sure, what teams feel like when Brian Flores is running your defense. Like, man, they got after him. They really got after him. And you can argue, well, they gave up a lot rushing. You knew when this decision was made that you're going for big plays. And when you shoot gaps and you're putting a lot of pressure, and if you get by the initial wave, there's going to be some long runs. Now we have safeties that are willing tacklers. That will smack people. And I love the entire approach of how this defense played yesterday. And that from a group that didn't even create a turnover. How often it's 9.8% because someone tweeted at us.
No, I have an even better.
Losing the turnover margin by 3-0, you have a 9.8% chance to win the game.
No, less. You ready for this?
Sure.
Don't get irritated. I have a number from the league. Tom Fanning.
I had a number from Joe, whoever tweeted me. He gave it to me yesterday.
I'm sorry, you're right. You should go with the
You can go with league propaganda, or you can go with what Joe tweeted me. All right, what does Tom Fanning have to say?
Since 2000, and yesterday they became the 90th team since 2000 to win a game in which they trailed in the turnover differential by 3 or more. Teams that lose the turnover battle by 3 or more are overall 90, 1,161, and 3. That is a winning percentage of 7.3%.
So it's even better.
Less.
Yeah, and for everybody that is... And yesterday I was pleasantly surprised. It was much more positive on a game we played worse against a better team and won by a smaller margin. Yesterday was much more positive, and from my end, that's what being a good team is, when you can play not great football and still find a way. Are you now literally finishing my sentences?
I wanted to try.
I'm going to Mad Lib here. I'm just going to stop. When I pause, I want you to jump in. it's a great thing for that locker room when you are in there. And now, if you don't think they had the vibe of we're winning every game before, you win games like that. That locker room is, dang, we played like junk. I bet Jordan Love is like, man, we stunk yesterday on offense. It was an inconsistent mess. They made a couple of big plays, but I didn't think Matt LaFleur ever got into a flow or a rhythm of calling the game. It was choppy. It wasn't his best. They executed poorly. It was just a blech game, and you win against supposedly one of the best teams in the AFC? That's a great thing. And that's why and that's the vibe I felt for most of our callers last night.
2 positives for me. One, since you took the low-hanging fruit of Jeff Hafley, I'll take the other piece of low-hanging fruit. Brian Gutekunst. I don't know if Braden Narveson makes a 45-yard walk-off game-winning field goal or not.
Jesse, is hell freezing over? I think it's warm out. Is hell freezing over?
That's not finishing my sentence.
Jason Wilde is going to throw Goody a compliment. What the...
Don't do that. This played out exactly the way Brian Gutekunst knew he had to act and did, and the dude delivers 5 days later. He Mason Crosby'd it. He made the kick. It didn't count because of a timeout, and then he went and did it again. And then he did a Lambeau leap, which was not very good, but his kick was fantastic. So the wisdom of finally saying, all right, this guy's he's got some baggage, but if we're the team we think we are, we need a guy that we can count on. And this guy from 50 on in, we can count on. He's like Money Matt Davenport. So that's 1. 2, and by the way, shout out to Daniel Whelan, who did a fantastic job on the snap.
He's a stud.
Getting it down.
He's got to be the all-pro punter right now. His average has got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, he had that one-off game, and a little bit like Jordan Love throwing that pick in San Francisco. You're like, what the heck? That doesn't happen. But he has been fantastic in his punting duties as well.
He's got guys like reaching over their head. Almost another forced turnover yesterday. The guy that luckily didn't touch it from his end, but he's just hitting bombs.
Yeah, my other one is my guy Eric Wilson. They lose Quay Walker to a concussion. Or maybe he's a good story today. But be that as it may, steps in 2 sacks, big defensive play, makes a play on special teams still. Those are the kinds of guys, you played with plenty of them, and those are the kinds of guys that Ted didn't usually have on his roster. The veteran kind of journeyman who can step in and knows how to play and is a total pro. This guy is that, and he was really very helpful to them yesterday. So those are my positives. What are your negatives?
I'm kind of the special teams outside of Daniel Whelan. Like, Nixon, come catch the punt, dude. Like, the broadcast is getting after Ballantyne or Valentine. I don't remember which one, who it ricocheted.
Valentine.
Go up there and catch the punt.
He lost the ball in the sky, he said.
Yeah, well, go catch it or get people away from it.
Peter.
This whole punt return, Wisconsin has not been good at it. We've struggled. Green Bay has struggled. It just feels like we're penalty prone. It's a sloppy operation. And for as much as everybody loves Rich Bisaccia, special teams haven't gotten any better. We're paying him.
He just got done talking about how great the punter was, and the guy kicked a walk-off game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I just disagree. I think I'm getting a little Bisaccia'd out, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I don't think
thing is wrong.
I don't feel like this group has gotten any better. And yes, Daniel Whelan, when you decided to go youth movement, he's been a home run. Mm-hmm. But Rich had brought in Carlson. That didn't work. Then this. So maybe it's right now, and maybe this thing's going to flip, and we're going to be dominant, but we're still way too – it's an adventure every time there's a punt.
Mm. Yeah, Jaden Reed retreating into the end zone was a new one, too. I don't
Pretty
know
nice catch on it, but I don't know what the hell he was doing. And that's my point. So for, Rich Bisaccia, you just said 3 things. You can't have one of those things in a game. And you had 3, and you had a penalty. It just was sloppy. And it's been sloppy, and I don't think I haven't seen any improvement. And you could sit there and he made a game-winning kick. You had a snap that almost ricocheted off the ground. Luckily, Daniel Veland's got soft, supple hands, was able to put it down. And the kid made a kick. But, there's just too much stuff. And you want to get out in front of stuff. We're not.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Your positives, your negatives, and we want your take on this Favre comp business. Are you bothered by it? Do you agree with it? Where do you stand on that? Because that seems to be a very hot button issue.
If I'm Favre, I'm not happy about it. You guys poo-poo like he's... I don't even want to get it.
You don't think that Brett Favre thinks he threw some critical interceptions in critical moments?
Of course he did, but when you're putting it in the perspective of we don't want any of that, I don't think you'd appreciate that.
You put it perfectly. We put a bow on it from your perspective.
Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process.
You start the reads while I'm still talking.
I'm trying to keep us on the clock, brother.
I'm sure you are.
Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filter, and it's cold packaged, so it's made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing. It is crisp. It's only 102 calories. That's why it is Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company. Yeah, go then, Colorado.
All right, we've got a bunch of calls lined up, but we still have plenty of phone lines open as well. 844-770-3776. Ron in Rome, you're going to be first coming out of the gates, followed by Ricardo in Canada, who's in the on-deck circle. Bunch more calls as well. We will get to you starting next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch is brought to you by Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The 23rd annual A Novel event is coming. Sharp Literacy's yearly fundraiser will happen on October 30th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Pfister Hotel. The program will feature a presentation with Code Baby CEO Nori Daroga and elementary students, dinner and a voice auction. Funds raised at A Novel event will support the delivery of Sharp STEAM-based education programs to thousands of K-3 through 5th graders and educators across the Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine areas. Find tickets to October 30th's A Novel event at sharpliteracy.org. Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Packers get a 24-22 victory in Green Bay on Sunday on a walk-off field goal from new kicker Brandon McManus. But it was Jordan Love after the game talking about his 2 interceptions that he wants to clean up.
Definitely got to clean that up, and I think if I clean that up, it'd be a better game. But that definitely hurt me. But got to bounce back and respond to him. The game's not going to be perfect, but definitely move forward. Want to be better with the ball.
It's 3 wins in a row now for the Packers, who next up take on the Jaguars in Jacksonville on Sunday.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture. Whether you're hauling, towing, or just plain trucking, it's Truck Month at Ewald Automotive Group. Shop hundreds of the toughest trucks from Chevy, Ford, GMC, and Ram with payments as low as $299 per month or financing as low as 0%. All backed by the Ewald exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Going on now while supplies last.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Select models with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offers expire month end.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com, and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
4-770-3776.
Jason, do you think if it wasn't Aaron Rodgers that Jordan Love was replacing, we'd even be having these discussions? Like, young quarterbacks make mistakes. Is it because old boy is the greatest to ever do it when it comes to not throwing picks that we're...
I do think that's a factor. Yes.
Okay.
I do think that's a factor. Now, do I think it's the only reason? Like, again, if you look at the way the game has evolved, wouldn't you agree that when Brett Favre was playing, everyone was throwing more interceptions?
Well, because you're also getting mauled.
Right.
Yeah.
But if we look at, like, Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love and Gardner Minshew are all tied at the top with 8 interceptions.
Minshew,
Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Will Levis with 7.
My Brock San Fran takes are looking better and better as the year keeps going.
Well, it's not helping that he's playing without
poor
just about,
Brock.
Well, what made your argument, and I'm not going to argue with you on this, I'm going to just start talking about Associated Bank in the middle of a sentence. Lamar Jackson has thrown 2 picks. Joe Burrow has thrown 2 picks.
Josh Allen won? Or did he throw one yesterday? Josh Allen, I think, has only thrown 1 pick all year. Maybe he might even be at 0.
Josh Allen has thrown 0 interceptions.
Wow.
A guy that some compared
Favre.
to Brett Favre.
For all of everybody that is panicking about that piece of this with Jordan, take a look. Like, those things can't change. What can't change is being able to throw that rope over the middle of the field and just outside the fingertips of old boy into Tucker Kraft's. Like, if you haven't watched that Dan Orlovsky breakdown of that, and I know you don't like Dan, but he broke it down as far as recognizing the coverage, getting Tucker to adjust his route, and then to throw that dot and looking over to get that safety to take 1/2 step so that that ball could go through his hands. It's still very dicey throw, but what a thing of beauty when it happens the way it did.
All right, let's get to your calls, 844-770-3776. Start with Ron in Rome. Ron, thanks for holding on. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, hi. I remember several years ago reading an article that said that Elway, Aikman, and Manning had a lot of interceptions their first year. And so while I was on hold, I looked it up. You know how many interceptions Peyton Manning had his rookie year?
28.
28. And Aikman had 18. Jordan Love had 0. But he wasn't very good last year until LaFleur told him to let it rip.
Yep.
So I think he's just trying to come to an equilibrium. Where's the proper thing between forcing it into people like Kraft and throwing bombs, which I actually think is more reminiscent of Rodgers in the playoffs when he'd throw these long bombs when he could have thrown to the open receiver. So I'm not panicking. Now, if he keeps doing it next year, that I'm going to be annoyed. But I don't want to be like the Bears fans and the media down there that gets on their quarterbacks for interceptions, and then it gets into their head, then they hesitate too much, and then they're not effective.
Yeah. Look, Ron, you're preaching to the choir. Like, I don't think we view it as big of a negative as maybe it is starting to sound to some, and maybe I'm part of the problem. I get that. But the bottom line is that I don't think Jordan Love's going to lose confidence because of what he's done already.
And we're
right?
5-2.
Yeah, but he and look, the weird thing about the way his season went last year was that he was throwing he threw 11 interceptions in the regular season last year. He threw 10 of them in the first 9 games, and then he threw 1 in the final 8 games when he was letting it rip. So I don't know exactly why, but I would argue that he took what the defense gave him. He saw opportunities for plays that were not super high risk and made those. I mean, he had a great second half. And so the other reason besides following Aaron Rodgers, Tausch, I would argue that his 8 picks have been so whoa-ish is because he didn't do it in the second half of last season.
Yeah.
It feels out of character for him, too.
No doubt about it. But I do think that the 15 or 16 years of someone that was so good at protecting the football, you have that banked into your mind. And now when there's picks, it's like, what? Okay, batted ball, all right. But averaging 2 a game is not going to be where we want to be. It's not. And we can sit here and say all the other stuff. I'm not worried at all. I am not. I want him to continue to learn, grow, and there's going to be some bumps. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be the facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad. But I love the fact that he has this talent, and he's trying to figure all of it out. Mm-hmm. It is not a finished product. Just like we weren't a finished product this season, you're going to continue. This defense has had some roller coaster, and I'm hoping this is on the ascent. We'll see. That's the beauty of this. We shall see. There's still going to be more bumps in this road, but you're on the road. You're chugging. Where did we get last year? We're on I-65 already. Like, we're chugging. Now it's just how we're going to get there, and if we have to stop at a quick trip to go pee and do all that, that's great. But we're on the road.
I just want to clarify. I know that the noise in the background was distracting to you, but you do understand that what you just said was exactly the conversation that Jordan and I had, right? Like, that was exactly what we played on Friday.
Yeah. What?
So my point
is.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay,
because
I don't remember hearing the Facts of Life theme song and the lyrics and that.
Take them both, and there you have. Look,
somehow on the show last night, I was thinking that was Three's Company. I said, you take the good, you take the bad, kind of like John Ritter and Suzanne Summers in Three's Company. And
wait, you're doing material? You're recycling things on our show?
Yeah, that's good.
I thought this should be good. This is your priority.
Well, I've just been watching you doing all your.
Save all my stuff for other shows.
You do. Well, it's because I never ask you any questions. But
everybody knows your name.
Good one.
On Three's Company.
I just think that this. And I had a great line that I hope Jesse grabs at the end.
A great line.
The end of my hit with Homer last night was.
Let me tell you how good I was.
This thing is a rocket ship. Like, I firmly believe this is I love where this team is trending. I do. There's going to be mistakes, guys. Stuff happens, and when you can do all that and beat a team that was 5-1, that's really good.
It's great.
Really good.
You'll get no argument here. All right, let's get one more call before the break. Then we'll get to plenty more, not only to finish the 9 o'clock hour, but into the 10 and hopefully into the 11 as well. I love it that we have so many calls after a game they won, because it feels like the phone lines only light up when things go poorly, and plenty of things did not go great yesterday, but they still found a way to win. Let's go to Ricardo in Canada. Ricardo, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, boys.
Doesn't he just bring Ricardo? You just bring a smile to my
up?
face when you start talking.
Yeah, so much so that he had to interrupt you to tell you what a smile.
Do you not want me to tell you great things when I feel joy? I want to make sure Ricardo knows he's bringing joy.
And that's why I keep calling, because you guys are gold platinum stars. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, this game is amazing. Was back and forth, was amazing. The positive of this team is the grit and the fact that everyone concedes. We are never out of a game. We can be down by 5. We can be down by 20. Heck, we can be down by 25. This team will fight, and every time they touch the ball, I think they're going to score, because Jordan Love has a talent on him like crazy. The only negative I have was the special teams. They need to just fair kick the punts. I know nobody likes it. Just fair kick it. We have the offense. I don't even care anymore. Just fair catch the punts. Enough is enough. Like, it's not that hard of an operation to figure it out. And you guys were asking about the comparison about Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Everyone needs to realize that Aaron Rodgers, if that was Aaron Rodgers yesterday, okay, we remember the Aaron Rodgers of the 4 MVPs, but we also remember the Aaron Rodgers that if he threw 2 picks, he'd go into a shell and focus on Devontae Adams throwing into triple coverage and ignore the rest of the team. He would have gone to a shell and not made these last minute. Like, Jordan Love threw 2 interceptions, went 3 straight 3-and-outs, and guess what he did with 1:06 left? He's like, I got this. For the first time, he said, I got this, and he drove the team down play by play by play. That's MVP right there, baby. All right, we all remember Rodgers, but he had negatives too. He had warts as well. Let's not make him seem like he was all-star spangled amazing. All right. Come on, boys. No puts it matter. Let's go. We're winning this. Let's do this.
Yes.
Ricardo, I am curious.
Love Ricardo now.
What did you mean by Rodgers would go into a shell? I don't remember him. I don't remember him going into shells when he threw interceptions.
What about against San Francisco last in the snowy game? Against San Francisco, the offense was stalling. He didn't throw a pick, but it was almost stalling consistently. He couldn't get anything going, and he focused. There were screenshots and video replays. There was plays where literally Vontae Adams had 3 guys on him, play after play, and you had Lazard open, you had DeGuara open, you had all these other guys wide and right open. You had checkdowns available for 20 yards at a time, Aaron Rodgers for 10 yards at a time. But what would he do? Old reliable 17. He kept doing that. He kept going to that shell every single time. Look against Tampa Bay, same thing. He had open players, but no, I got to go to 17 because 17 is going to always come up and play. And majority of the time he did. But when it came down to that crucial part, he wouldn't throw to the open man. He threw to the guy he trusted the most. And I can't blame him, but at the same time, Jordan Love ain't throwing to the guy he trusts the most. He's throwing to the guy who the player
Ricardo, he did yesterday.
He threw to Romeo Dobbs on that drive multiple times, and he trusts him, that's for sure. Ricardo, thanks for the call, buddy. We appreciate you. We'll get to more of your calls coming up, 844-770-3776, 844-770-37.
I do want to say this. Thank you to D'Amico Ryans, and because you made Jordan's and the offense's job so much easier keeping a timeout by not running the football. It's 3rd and 15. They throw an out route?
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
Even if they catch that, what are
going
you
out
gaining?
Of bounds, and it's stopping the clock.
Because for Jordan, it's always that getting that first down is such a key piece to this. And the fact that you have a timeout just gives you a little more peace of mind as a play caller and as a quarterback, saying we can do something big over the middle. Now, he got fortunate that tipped up ball didn't get picked and this thing was deuces, because I promise you this, if that happens today, there's not all this linear growth. I would have still been in my same camp. I'm okay. It would have been different.
But they lost, and he threw a 3rd interception with the game on the line.
Now,
who does that sound like?
I'm still skittish and thinking we need to get this thing. It's okay. I'm not mad by any stretch, but it does need to improve. If that ball, them not running the football and giving Green Bay a full timeout to have with their disposal, I think mattered a ton at the end of that game. So thank you, D'Amico.
We're talking about Jordan Love's picks. Howard Tausch's prize picks.
Yeah, I was good. I felt really good about the less on the combo platter, Jesse, that we went with of Love, and Stroud.
Yep.
I didn't think Stroud would be this inept stat-wise. It was bad.
Credit the Packers defense, huh?
Yeah, and I thought Jacobs would have a little bit more, and if they would have fed him a little bit more, I think he eats a little bit more. So Old T didn't have a great day on Prize Picks, but I did turn my sports opinions into some opportunities. Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 10 million users. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and all you do, you pick more or less on that 2 to 6 player stat projection. Go with the kicker. Go with McManus. I think it was 1.5. We fell a little short on that, but we did win on the Stroud and Love. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Don't even need to win. You still get that $50. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use that code WI, and you get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, code WI to get $50 after you play that $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
You may think the 9 o'clock hour is over, but it's not. We'll take one more call, and then we'll kick off the 10 o'clock hour a little bit later. That's all still ahead, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
I'm comfortable in saying this. This was the biggest waste of a season in Wisconsin sports history. This is worse than Ray Rhodes.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
But without Giannis, I have a hard time saying that.
Well, then give me a comparable. What was worse? Give me a worse season.
Chewy, that's easy. That's so easy.
What?
2011 Packers.
Morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for 60 months.
Visit PellaWI.com.
Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
Don't miss a moment of football this season at 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. Your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination. 3rd Street Market Hall has over 15 locally owned food vendors, a self-serve beer wall, over 50 HD TVs, and game day specials. What more could you need? If you're not at the game, this is the place to be every Saturday and Sunday. View the vendor list and 30 self-serve beer options at 3rdstreetmarkethall.com. That's 3rdstreetmarkethall.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Olsen here for my friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
What I want, you've got, and it might be hard to handle. Like a flame that burns a candle.
Lots and lots and lots of calls. Let's get to one quick one, and then we'll hit the reset button and kick off the 10 o'clock hour. Let's go to... Didn't Oostburg beat you in something?
I don't remember.
I feel like every time Oostburg comes up, other than the fact they got a sparkling
You're
new
kind of a jerk
quick
today.
trip.
No offense. You let Cruzy and Nagler get after you, and now you're kind of... Usually it's me, and I'm getting crushed on the YouTube chat that I'm being a jerk. You're kind of being a little bit of a jerk today. Jesse, do you agree?
In fairness, you do normally bring up Oostburg beat you in something.
And in fairness, Jason is 100% right, but Oostburg did gut us.
Let's talk to AJ in Oostburg. AJ, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning, boys. I am doing very good. Thanks, guys. Hey, just one quick question. So when the score was 19-14, we scored a touchdown.
AJ, I thought you were going to bring up the fourth quarter of the 1995 state championship game. I'm glad you did. Okay, continue.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that game a few times, Tausch. You actually made a half-court shot on that
I
one,
did,
didn't you?
yeah, and it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, okay. All right, anyway. So we were up 14-19.
I love
right?
you,
We're down
AJ.
14. So here, okay, let's go. So we were down 14-19, right? We score a touchdown, makes it 20-19.
Yep.
Why did we kick an extra point and not go for two
Don't
and make
chase
it a
the
3-point
points.
game there?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, and I'm sure, Jason, you guys asked LaFleur that. I think at that point in the game, it's third quarter, I think is when it happened. What you want to do, you don't want to, let's say you don't get it, right? And then they go score. You're in that position. I don't know what you could end up falling behind by more than 8. Is that
And this
the
was
thought
also
process?
created by the Texans going for 2 when you would say it was also premature, wouldn't you?
I unless you feel great about your 2-point plays and not great about your field goal kicker, you always take the points until I think unless you're end of the third quarter, starting in the fourth. I got it, and I thought it was an interesting question at the time. And it didn't matter, but I knew that would be open to criticism, and I think LaFleur did too.
Yeah, I just know this. Evan Williams, the subject of your Sunday story in the Wisconsin State Journal.
He's really good.
He is really good. Made the play on the 2-point conversion, and that is the difference between Brandon McManus's kick being a game winner and Brandon McManus's kick tying the game, right? If my math is correct.
I think your math is right, yeah.
That was a big play by him. I was going to let Tausch start talking, and then I would start talking over him about Fleet Farm, because that's what we're doing today with our reads, but he's not talking right now, so I will about Fleet Farm. You may have missed the truckload sale. I made sure that I made it during the weekend, but you still will get everything you need for your everyday life at Fleet Farm, and you'll get it at the best prices guaranteed. Any day, every day, from household essentials to power tools, which I don't buy much of, to pets, to bird seed and corn and everything else that I do buy, you won't find better deals. Shop the best prices guaranteed today, in-store or online at fleetfarm.com. Lots and lots of calls. If you're there, stay there on hold. We'll get to you when we kick off the 10 o'clock hour in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Why settle for just a job when you could have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee new car dealer members have service, technician, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam new car dealer.
For current great paying job opportunities, visit adam.jobs. That's ADAMM.jobs.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Attention Milwaukee County residents. Are you prepared for the unexpected? From sudden storms to unforeseen emergencies, readiness is key. Take charge of your safety with a family emergency plan and an essential emergency kit. Stay informed and connected during emergencies. For tips and resources, visit us online or contact the Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management. Prepare now, stay safe, and build a resilient community together, because readiness starts with you.
Truth Nation, is Dr. Ken Harris. Your vote matters. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th, and I want to encourage you to get out and vote for the change that you want to see. Get out and vote, Truth Nation. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Well, look, here's the rundown, by the way, of our callers on hold. And thanks for everyone being patient, because I know it's a long time to wait. Massachusetts, Florida, where is Astico?
Dodge County, I believe, is up where Astico is.
Okay, so Astico and Monroe, those are Wisconsin.
You love saying that, don't you?
Not as much as I loved hearing Tucker Ashcraft.
Another big Tutter. Score,
yeah. Big Tutter.
Yeah, I heard him, and no profanity uttered from the color analyst. Minnesota, and then Saukville and Dodgeville. So we got a good cross-section of the United States and Wisconsin on hold. We've still got a couple more spots if you want to get in on the conversation. Your positives, your negatives, and this whole Favre love. No one's comparing him to Lynn Dickey, which I think is a good thing, or Rich Campbell. But where do you stand on that? Let's start with John in Massachusetts. Jesse is secretly hoping that John has a very thick Boston accent.
Johnny!
From Boston. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, guys. Love your show. I'm grateful that I live in a day and age where I can stream you guys all the way up here in the Northeast. And I try to listen to you every day. So let me touch first on Jordan Love, because I know you guys have been talking about that. Mm-hmm. I have a different perspective living in Massachusetts and seeing a certain team win Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl the last few decades. And I think when people start to get used to seeing something that's normal for them, they don't realize that it's abnormal when you look at the big picture. And I think that's kind of how Packer fans are looking at it with Rodgers. Just because we had 15 years of statistically the greatest touchdown to interception ratio quarterback of all time, that doesn't mean that that's normal across the board. I think we should be excited about our young, ascending, super talented quarterback. He's going to figure some things out along the way. Does he have a touch of Favre? Yes. Does he have a touch of Rodgers? Yes. And I think as he continues to grow and learn, hopefully he can meld the best of those two together and be a super effective player for us for a long, long time. My positive for this game, I try staying away from the low-hanging fruit here, and I want to go with Romeo Doubs. And Jason, I fully believe and trust what you say when you say that the whole situation isn't entirely resolved, and I don't want to get into that. But he had 8 catches for almost 100 yards yesterday, and a good half of those were really tough contested catches with guys draped all over him. And my uninformed, unexpert opinion suggests that if you don't have your head in your game and your focus isn't 100%, you're not coming down with those balls. And he did. So I think it was a great way to build off his performance last week against Arizona. And hopefully, they can figure everything out behind the curtain and things continue to ascend. My negative, this might be nitpicky a little bit, but towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, the Packers really couldn't get anything going on offense. And Tausch, you talked last week about how if this was a big-time national game, once we start having some of those, maybe our boy Zach Tom is going to start getting the credit and the recognition that he deserves. Well, there were a couple plays where she got beat badly by Will Anderson, I believe.
Will's
and Tom
really good.
got beat badly by Daniil Hunter.
Yep.
They're very good, right? But if Zach Tom's going to be the player that we think he can be and think he will be, those are the type of ends that you really want him to hold up against in the fourth quarter when you're trying to come back. Now, I love those players. I think they're going to be great bookends for us. And again, like I said, nitpicky, but I thought those were spots where you'd really like your young studs to win against their young studs. Well, Hunter's not young, but you know what I mean. And they came up short that time. But love you guys. Appreciate you taking my call, and have a great Monday.
What an outstanding call.
Great call. Succinct, to the point. And yes, I didn't think, and I'll be curious when we talk to Balaga on Wednesday and when you see the hurries, because Zach Tom he hadn't given up a sack. He gave one up yesterday. It happens. I am still super bullish, but it wasn't the cleanest game. And part of it is the rhythm of the offense. You could say a lot of things about how it went, but I thought offensively yesterday was not. And that's the beauty of this in my eyes, is that it was choppy. It was not a great execution of a plan. And it was still, you did enough, and there was not a soul at Lambeau, I'm guessing. I know I felt like even when Houston got it, Green Bay was going to go and get a game-winning field goal attempt. Whether or not he was going to make it or not, I don't know. I didn't know. I felt like that would be the case, and you did what you needed to do. This was going to be Anderson is a stud. He is one of the best young pass rushers in the game. You're not going to win every battle that you have. But I thought, all in all, the group did enough to get the job done yesterday.
He mentioned Romeo Doubs, and I'm glad that John did, because I did talk to Romeo yesterday, and it was a one-on-one conversation, which I had not had with him.
Exclusive.
No, not that. And as is often the case with Romeo, I listened back to it, and I decided I don't think you're going to be able to hear it effectively on the radio. Because he's so soft-spoken and there was noise in the locker room. But I was able to hear it enough to transcribe it, and I used it in my story today. I asked him, how much does this mean after the last couple of weeks? Because, as John pointed out, 10 targets, 8 catches, 93 yards, and critical catches on the go-ahead field goal drive to end the game.
That second-to-last catch was the one that we thought got stripped out. That was big boy stuff. Like, he's sitting on his keister with the ball up here in his hands, and he is not going to be denied. It was impressive.
A vice-like grip that he puts on the ball. That's one of his best qualities. It means a lot because, obviously, there were some things going on. I'm just thankful that I'm still around as a player repping the Green Bay Packers. It's definitely a big blessing, which I'm thankful that I'm still around, I thought was a very interesting thing for him to say. Let's get another call in, 844-770-3776. Let's go down the eastern seaboard from Massachusetts to Florida and talk to Georgianne. Georgianne, good morning. Thanks for holding so long. What do you got for us?
Good morning. So my positives, one of which you already discussed, was Wilson and his 2 sacks. Those sacks were hard hitting, and I love to see it. I love when they take them down with such force that you're like, yes, you could feel it all the way down here in Florida. The other positive for me was the recognition by the offense to get the call and the play off for that Wicks touchdown, because you could see the Texans were contemplating throwing the challenge flag on that. So the fact that they got it off and got a touchdown out of it on the sideline was just kiss, you know. My negative, you guys touched on it, special teams. Valentine should have been cognizant of looking to see where that ball was. You know, that's key special teams study. On the other side, defensive side, is stopping the run. Mixon, along with, I don't even know how many other running backs have run too many good runs against this defense. I'm hoping that when Wyatt gets back, that will fix it, unless Goody has a trade up his sleeve. So.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack there that I like, but let's start with where, Georgianne, you left off, and that is the run defense. Because Joe Mixon is a really good football player, and he was really productive yesterday. How do you view, while we were all, myself very much included, and Matt LaFleur, not throwing a bouquet, but throwing a game ball to Jeff Hafley, how do you view their run defense when you consider that aspect of their game?
I think there's room to grow, but that's part of what this team is doing now, is they're getting up the field, and you want TFLs, and you want big plays, and you want turnovers. You also want to be, and the encouraging part to me was the second half. I thought the first half playing a little bit too much back on our toes, and Houston's offensive line was getting some movement. And really, I thought, from Kenny Clark's perspective, it didn't feel like he was getting at it, at least in that first half. And then you saw in the second half, it looked like, he got after it, I guess is the best way to put it. He was much more in the backfield making plays. So when you're trying to get to the quarterback and you're screaming up the field, you're going to leave yourself in some vulnerable spots. I am not as concerned about that because you're not seeing the monster runs that we saw maybe a couple of years last year and some other times, but it's definitely something after a few runs. You knew that was what Houston was going to do because they were not in the mood to throw the football because Stroud was getting killed. So you have to I'd like to see maybe the adjustment a little quicker than it was. I thought in the second half the adjustment was better. They slowed the run game down a lot more than they did in the first half.
Yeah, and look, I think in fairness to their defense, I mean, the Texans couldn't do anything in their pass game. Now, I know they're missing Nico Collins, but they still had Tank Dell. They still had Stephon Diggs.
How is Stephon Diggs a captain?
I don't know, but
I would venture to say this will be his last year as a captain for that team.
Might be his last year with that team.
I would think that should be, yeah.
I don't let things go. I'm not the bigger person. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We'll get to more of your calls, so stay there. Tausch, tell us about AmFam.
Well, I think today's the 21st, right? Is it the stroke of midnight
all
yet?
Day. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a day. Get moving, Packer fans. If you're looking for that ultimate game day experience, American Family Insurance, they have you covered. Picture this. You hit your very own VIP tailgate, and then you get to cheer on the Packers from those jaw-dropping seats. Enter the Dream Weekend Sweepstakes to win amazing game tickets, private tailgate, exclusive Jordan Love merch, and much, much more. That all sounds incredible. Well, just go to amfam.com/Packers to enter. You have until the stroke of midnight tonight to do it. Right? Is that correct? I think that's correct.
You know what? I'm going to stay up till the stroke of midnight tonight just to see how this goes.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
I got a hunch.
A double dose of Monday Night Football tonight.
Oh, yeah, there was a double dose. And there's a double dose to come down to that big game It's going to be in November. You get that great package that AmFam has. All you got to do is go to amfam.com/Packers. Enter. No purchase is necessary. Dream fearlessly. Insure carefully.
So just so we clarify this, because today's the last day, in theory, if you can submit your entry by 11:59 p.m. Central Time, you're good. If you try to submit it at 12 a.m. Tuesday, you will not be good. The entry will close before that.
I do believe that is the case, yes.
Well, I'm glad we finally figured that out for you on the last possible day.
A long road to get here.
More of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to The Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for 60 months.
Visit PellaWI.com.
Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
We all have someone we know or love that has been affected by some form of cancer.
No matter how well you love and support them and try to be there for them, you can never really know what a person is feeling after hearing the words, "You have breast cancer."
Only another person that has been through this experience can really understand what it feels like.
ABCD, After Breast Cancer Diagnosis, is a Milwaukee-based organization known around the world.
When someone calls ABCD, they are matched with a mentor who is a breast cancer survivor of similar age and had the same type of breast cancer who can provide hope when people need it the most.
Kessler's is excited to announce that we've designed a new Hope Pendant for 2024 to honor breast cancer patients, survivors, thrivers, and caregivers.
100% of the net proceeds, along with an additional donation from Kessler's, will support ABCD when you purchase a symbol of hope.
You can find a link with more information about ABCD, along with the new 2024 Hope Pendant, starting at just $75 in sterling silver and $500 in gold, online at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hauntingly good deals await you at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event. There will be no tricks, only treats.
Trick or treat!
On the price you'll get on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Prices will be slashed at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealership. America's best-selling cars, trucks, and SUVs from both Buick and GMC. All marked down with October Spooktacular Savings discounts and incentives, including their entire inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Choose from over 1,500 on lot or online. There'll be dozens of spooktacular service specials and everything from brakes, tires to oil changes. Plus, with any test drive in October, you'll be entered to win free gas for a year, with drawings held every Friday throughout the month at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis dealerships in both Greenfield and Oak Creek. Halloween savings aren't just slashed, they're chainsawed at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event going on now. For additional event info, go to shopkunis.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we've helped hunters gear up for the season for over 6 decades. So as you prep for this year's hunt, shop unbeatable deals on supplies to make your trip successful. Like a free $10 Blaine's gift card when you buy a Sport Dog 500-yard remote trainer, only $149.99. Hit the road with the Blaine's brand Gold Automotive Battery, starting at $114.99. And select Schumacher multi-amp battery chargers, just $59.99. Gear up and save on the hunting supplies you need at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
The calls keep rolling in. Would love nothing more than to postpone trivia and do double trivia on Wednesday again because we had calls wall to wall.
Our end of show trivia.
No, we don't know. By the way, I got this note from Dennis and Plover. You've got like this weird lens flare going on in there where it looks like, I don't know if you've been, if this is the transfiguration. That's a biblical joke for those of you that are unfamiliar. But you're like glowing, like a blue glow over you. You look great.
It's called the sun. The sun comes in from whatever direction that is and makes
and
glare.
That creates that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, so for Mr. Irrelevant on the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube channels in the afternoon, Hunter Vaughn closes the shade so it looks better, but then everyone in the office gets mad at him for closing the shade and taking away the great view of the Capitol in downtown Madison. So,
well, we can't see the view of the Capitol in downtown Madison because it's so bright.
All right, but they can sitting out there. There's other people here besides me. I know I forget that sometimes, but...
Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of people on hold. Let's get to them. 844-770-3776. I learned where Astico is, or at least I learned where Jesse says it is, which may or may not be accurate. Let's talk to Big Jim in Astico. Jim, good morning. How are you?
Gentlemen, first off, Big Jim had a blue glow when he went to see the Eagles in 1980, but we won't get into that. I just have a couple of things, and then I'm going to get to Tausch on the football stuff. Jason, next time you and I are both at Fleet Farm getting bullets and Marlboros, I'll come up and say hi, as long as it doesn't violate the terms of the restraining order. Jesse, I congratulate you on your weight loss journey. In honor of that, Big Jim had a couple of Bavarian cream-filled Long Johns this morning.
This voice sounds so familiar to me. I can't quite place it.
Tausch, before we get to the football, am I to understand that you're pimping a product called My Hot Box?
You're what?
I don't want to go into that. I looked back and I thought, you know, at every level of football that Mark Tauscher has played, and I started with the Auburndale Pee Wee, where I would imagine you were a lot like Andy Reid in that punt, pass, and kick thing where all the other kids were like 8 or 9 and you looked like you were 26.
No, I didn't actually, Big Jim, I didn't grow until my sophomore year. I was not that big, surprisingly. So continue.
Well, you grew quick.
Yeah.
So playing football at Auburndale High School, a storied career there. Playing for the Red at Wisconsin, doing the jump around, playing for the Green Bay Packers. Let me ask you, because we always talk about team and how it's one for all for one. How did you guys, especially you guys along the front, how did you feel when you lost the game because of the special teams? I mean, to be honest now, Tausch, was it one for all for one? You know, my guy doesn't know how to catch a punt. My guy can't make a field goal. Did you feel good about that? Were you kind of those guys, or did you kind of side-eye them the rest of the week?
I don't think there was a side-eye. The good teams, that's how you feel. It's, I could have done this, or we could have done this. There's other things at play. You always – now, does that mean if someone missed a 20-yard field goal that we would have won, that we don't think, boy, that would have been nice to make that? Obviously, yes. But if you're a good team that sticks together, you will rally around that guy. Like, I can just take a look at the Seattle playoff game in the Snow Globe. RG put the ball on the ground a couple times. We didn't say get him out of there. Now, if they subbed him out, that wasn't our decision. It was let's pick it up and let's go. So special teams is there's been plenty of times I can remember Allen Rossum taking a touchdown back and Will Blackman. Guys make plays. You're obviously super excited, but any team worth a lick, yes, there's always going to be individuals that will say and think some things, but as a group and as a front forward, you always try to overcome that, yes.
I've always been a guy that gives the responsibility to the players, and I think the players are that way too. Is Rich Bisaccia still the special teams coach?
Yep.
Okay. And we'll all agree. Keyshawn Nixon's a good young player, right? Jaden Reed's a good young player, right?
Sure.
How do they not know how to catch a punt? I mean, that was the thing I was looking at. They finally took care of the problem with the kicker, and how do they not know the basics of catching a punt? These are good young guys. How is that excusable in any way?
Yeah, and to your point, Jim/Bill, and thanks for the call, is this, that it has not cost them yet. And the key word is yet, right? I mean, a week ago, they have the fumble that Jaden Reed has, and he gets injured. And by the way, they have completely dismissed the idea. Matt LaFleur, Jaden Reed, and Rich Bisaccia in unison, they have all dismissed the idea of taking Jaden Reed off punt returns. They're basically in a job-sharing arrangement between him and Keyshawn Nixon, who is now a starting corner.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either.
No, I'm just telling you that that's what they've decided.
Okay, good.
So if they want to make a change, they don't feel that's necessary right now. And these are their two best guys, and they both have had mistakes. But the question is not, do they know what they're doing? The question is, are they going to make that type of a mistake and it ends up costing you a game? Because it didn't cost them yesterday, didn't cost them against the Cardinals. It hasn't cost them yet. But I understand the criticism. The problem is there are so many other aspects of that game that bear discussion, that the special teams are problematic. I won't disagree. But there's more pressing matters, including the way the defense played.
Where's LaFleur's and Bisaccia's relationship right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're pretty good.
Okay.
Let's go out to Monroe.
So if they had to give a contract extension, he's getting one.
For all I know, he already has one. I have no idea. It's one of the few things that are very hard to get information on in the league.
It's weird because player stuff is out there 3 minutes after it happens, but the coaches nothing.
It's because their agents share it as opposed to the coaches' agents. Let's go out to Monroe and talk to John. John, good morning. Thanks for holding, buddy. What do you got for us?
Good morning. Do you think the Packers would be better off with a fullback on the roster and shelf the jet sweeps on third down?
Ooh, interesting. Well, they do have a fullback that they keep calling up, John Beck.
Grapes of Wrath.
Steinbeck. It gets blown up every time they try to do it on third down. It's a good play on first and second probably, but on third down it's too slow to develop. At least in my opinion. The other thing is we all are concerned about Gary, but where's Preston Smith? He certainly, you don't hear his name called much at all
Jumped
anymore.
off sides a couple times yesterday.
Yeah, that was my other comment about pre-snap penalties. I mean, when they did it on late in the fourth quarter or the 3rd and 5 down, I don't know, about the 30-yard line, I thought, oh boy, this game is over now. I mean, they're giving it to him.
Mm-hmm. So interesting that you bring him up, because I read something from Ian Rappaport over the weekend in which he had a list of players that are potential trade targets. And the two on the Packers that he listed were Preston Smith and Andre Dillard, which it's worth noting that when Zach Tom had a shoe issue, it was Kadeem Telfort who went in to replace him for one snap. Again, maybe they view him as the
Dillard
backup right tackle.
Dillard is active,
and Dillard
right?
is the backup left tackle.
He was active.
Yesterday. Yes,
okay.
He was, yeah. So I don't know. Look, yesterday was a good day for Rashawn Gary, and he needed one. It had been a while since he'd been that productive. And I'm glad I got to talk to him afterward about it for a story later in the week. But the bottom line is that Preston Smith has not been super productive either. Their entire pass rush, with the exception of Devontae Wyatt before he was injured.
Anik Bari's been pretty good. When he's been in there, he's been pretty good.
He got a personal foul yesterday, but I think he's been better than Preston Smith has been.
So you want to trade Preston Smith?
That's not what I said. I'm just telling you what Ian Rappaport wrote.
I know, but you're bringing up that this guy's been better, and
you brought him up, and I agreed.
You got to let Lucas Van Ness develop, and there's a lot of guys. Edgerrin Cooper is a pass rush guy. I want to see more of him. Now, if it's blitzing off of from a linebacker spot or putting him down, Preston Smith has been a really good Packer. I don't know how much more run he's going to have. I don't know how many snaps he's taking as we sit here right now. So if someone is going to, I thought there were some other total makeup trades that I saw someone put out, which was complete bunk. But in this case, if Rappaport is putting this out there, there's a lot of teams that are looking. There's a lot of teams looking. And if you can get a 5th-round pick for Dillard, yeah.
A Deuce's D.
Yeah, I'll gladly take that. Now, if you're going to get a conditional 7th and all that, because you never know.
Right.
But he is now 3rd and probably 4th if they really need to make a move, because I believe Jordan Morgan would find a way in there somewhere along. There'd be other opportunities for guys. So I think this is going to be the quietest trade deadline that Green Bay's had, because I don't think they need a lot. I think everybody's there that they need. If they could, I actually think they'd be more, and this sounds crazy to say for a team that's 5-2 that's going to be competing for the 1 seed in this conference, I think they could still sell and still be fine.
I agree with you on that. All right. There is a quick trip in Oostburg. There's one in Belgium. There's one in Manitowoc. There's a bunch in Sheboygan. If you're going on 43 and you're on your way to 65, you're going to be stopping at a quick trip.
I didn't even interject there, but it is Packers season. Enter today for great prizes all season long, and only with the Quick Rewards Packers Zone from Quick Trip, you could win a 2024 Chevy Traverse Z71, an Aaron's snowblower, Packer game tickets, and more. All the things that we love here on Wilde Tausch. And entering, it is super easy. Use your Quick Rewards when making purchases at Quick Trip. You'll earn a Fan Zone point for every $1 you spend at Quick Trip. Every $1. Just stop in for some Glazers, little Nature's Touch milk on a weekend morning, Quick Trip before heading to the field with your kids, or simply fill up your tank and boom. I'm on low. I'm under the mileage. I'm here. My little thing went on. I got to run and do something, and then I'm going to go all the way back to Sun Prairie. I'm rolling the dice today, baby, and I might be calling Jelly to come pick me up. Keep tracking your Quick Rewards app in the Fan Zone section and start using your points in the Packers Zone. Get in on it now through October 31st. One winner, 18 tickets to a Packers private suite experience for the November 24th game at 3:25. I will be at that game as well. Start spending today for all those Quick Rewards Zone prizes. Download the Quick Rewards app in your app store. Visit quicktrip.com/fanzone for full details.
Don't call me. I'm not going to come pick you up if
you're not going to do it.
No, that's self-induced. That's your own thing.
I didn't know. So you're not going to help. If Old T is stuck there on 151 with nowhere to go, Jesse's out.
Depending on where you are, I might feel bad, but for the most part, I'm not going to feel bad. If you're not
willing to be the teammate that I thought you were, I'm not even going to bother to ask. Is that what you're telling me?
I just wanted to also tell you that I had some friends up from the Chicago area over the weekend. They love Quick Trip, and we went to the volleyball game on Friday. Well, they came with. I was working at the volleyball game. They went across the street from Camp Randall in the Fieldhouse to the Quick Trip that doesn't have gas.
With no gas station. I love that place.
They love it. Was like an attraction for them to go to. It was like a novelty thing to go the Quick Trip with no gas. They loved it.
Great spot. Another great location. But what does that have to do with you not picking me up if my car runs out of gas?
More of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
At Fleet Farm, we're serious about offering whatever you need at the best prices guaranteed. Big things, little things, everything. Like Diamond Crystal Solar Salt for only $4.79 a bag. Or 25 pounds of black oil sunflower seed for $9.99. And 40 pounds of Litter Delight cat litter is on sale now for just $8.99. And as always, if you happen to find it for less, we'll match it. So stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm. All at the best prices guaranteed.
Now, we all experience daily struggles, and with so many concerns to be conscious of, breathing should not be one of them. Mark Tauscher here for Advent, and if you're like me and have had snoring issues, sinus problems, or difficulty breathing, then you'll want to meet the team at Advent. The team of Advent specialists have a few simple steps to help evaluate your individual limitations and get you back to breathing well. Since Advent addressed my snoring and nasal breathing issues, I feel great. I've never slept better, and my wife Sarah is incredibly appreciative. The team of Advent specialists listened to my struggles, found the best solution for me, and customized it to my needs. Take my word for it and go to adventknows.com to learn more about simple solutions to snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems. And schedule your appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnofthebog.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and I have great news. Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha has the Volvo you want in stock and ready to drive home today.
Come see our full lineup of Volvo SUVs, the XC90, XC60, and XC40.
So stop by Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha and take a test drive.
Plus, you'll be part of Fields' amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and gourmet coffee service. Integrity and customer satisfaction will always be the force that drives our business. At Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha, go to volvocarswaukesha.com.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Olsen here from our friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and football season is back, and you know I'm watching every snap with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in my hand. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. You make picks for your pick'em entry and choose if a player will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 2.5 touchdown passes, or even Tyreek Hill lower than 150 receiving yards. Over 1 million fans got in on the action last season, and it is time for you to jump aboard. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app at UnderdogFantasy.com or sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Join me this football season and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Rolling with the calls. Could get to that magical noon hour, 11:59 a.m. Central Time.
A stroke of noon.
Not to be confused with when our AmFam contest rules indicate you are done playing. Let's keep going. Let's go up to Minnesota. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's talk to Spencer. Spencer, good morning. How are you?
Good. Always great to have a victory Monday. Positives and negatives. I don't think you guys mentioned it. You know, not all heroes wear capes, but sometimes they wear coveralls. That fan who gave Mixon the business, love it. I don't know if that's ever well, I remember Fred Smoot, I guess, back in the day. But the fact that he was escorted out and came back, too, and was there for the McManus Lambeau Leap. Was nice.
Yeah,
I don't know what ground the pack.
So, Spencer, hold on a second, because I don't know if everybody knows this, and then you can continue. So, if you're watching the game, Mixon scores a touchdown, because somebody asked me about this earlier today, too. Mixon scores a touchdown. He tries to do a Lambeau Leap, and there is a guy in red there who I assume is a Texans fan who he's trying to jump to, and a Packers fan basically does the Dikembe Mutombo and knocks him back out of the Lambeau Leap. But then someone else sent me a note that said the guy that apparently had been booted was back in that same spot for McManus's Lambeau Leap too. You saw that?
Yeah. There's screen grabs of it after. I know on CBS they had the whole because I think the game went right to the Viking game after on the national broadcast. But yes, there. If you look on Twitter, you can definitely find him, and it's the same guy. And I was wondering too, and. Was a little goofy here, but you got Mixon, who has a history of violence. That fan doesn't know him, and he's jumping at him. He's protecting himself. What else do you want him to do?
Oh, come on.
Okay, yeah, I know. Negative. Coach, I know you touched on it too, but so, there's all this allegedly with, we've had the comparisons with Favre today too. I think we need to compare Favre to Rich Bisaccia, allegedly taking money from the Green Bay Packers and being the highest paid special teams coordinator here.
Ooh.
What the whole thing, the last week, remember, you get what you emphasize. What does this guy emphasize? We have penalties every week. When we have a long return, I'm just looking for the flag, and it happened yesterday too. Have Jaden Reed or Keyshawn Nixon talked to Rich? Because in Brazil, Rich took the blame for Keyshawn running that one kick out that Tausch loved. And now, half the time, I don't know if they know what they should be doing. Fielding it at the one, ball going over their heads. Like, do they talk to each other? Kickoffs, too. So I don't know why we don't allow more kicks, like especially early in the year we were kicking in the end zone. In the first presser, after the Brazil game, I think Demoski asked Rich, hey, you kicked one kick short of the end zone, and you stopped them at the 15. The rest of them, you kicked in the end zone, and they got it at the 30. So why did you do that? And Rich says, yeah, well, look at this week in Buffalo. It was windy there, and they had some issues on kickoffs. You couldn't kick short when you were in Brazil because it was windy? In Buffalo, it does not make sense to me. You get what you emphasize, and I don't know what maybe he's emphasized. The thing, honest to God, what I think Rich emphasizes, or what I think he emphasizes, is, hey, you guys, it's not gunners, it's flyers. We got to do that. And he's got to focus on his cute little soliloquies at the beginning of all his pressers, too. I said this last year to you guys, and I'm probably wrong. I'll admit I'm probably wrong. But what is the difference between Rich Bisaccia and Maurice Drayton? If you gave Maurice Drayton Rudy Ford, Dallin Levitt, Zane Anderson, Eric Wilson, Corey Bajorquez versus Daniel Whelan. Corey Bajorquez was the number one punter I can remember, where he just wanted to kick it as far as he could, and he didn't care about how well he would hold Mason's kicks, which he struggled with all year. I do not know what Rich does during the week. With bands, when they tour the country, I think, you got to find certain things. Is this guy an artist? Is he a musician? Or some guys, like the bass player, just a good hang. I think Rich Bisaccia is a good hang. He loves the history of football. He's talking to Tucker Kraft about that old tight end and stuff. He's talking to all the guys. Everyone loves him. Maybe he needs to move and be like the assistant to Chris Crystal with like the history of the Packers, because I don't know what he does during the week to coach these guys up on special teams.
All right, Spencer, I hope you feel better. You've gotten that off your chest. We're here for you. That has been your Rich Bisaccia minute, or maybe 3 from Spencer in Minnesota. Look, I agree. He was, and this is the expectation game, right, Tausch? That's exactly what this is. He was advertised as the best special teams coordinator. He is the highest paid special teams coordinator, and yet, much like it doesn't matter who the defensive coordinator was, they always had trouble stopping the run. It appears that there are still special teams issues regardless of him and his paycheck. and that draws some people's frustrations, most notably Spencer's.
Yeah, and I also think he carries himself in a very confident way, which is great when you're really being successful. I don't know. I am curious. What are his points of emphasis? What is he? Because does he block a lot of punts?
I would say his coverage units have been pretty good
here,
but his punter has been really good, and the kickoffs are mostly in the end zone. So I don't know through 7 games if there's a lot of evidence to back up my opinion.
So you would give Bisaccia a pretty good grade if I'm reading.
I don't know, C+, B-. I mean, the special teams haven't gotten a beat, which is usually the starting point for me.
Yeah.
And then if they do something to help you win, then you up the grade.
Okay.
That's kind of how I view special teams.
All right. Yeah, I've been thoroughly unimpressed.
Yeah, I know you have. You and Spencer are on the same page on that. All right, we need to get some more of your calls. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Speaking of special teams, Jesse went out at Titletown while we were at Associated Bank, and Squib kicked a field goal.
I declared an onside kick.
Which did not get up in the air, nor did it cross the goal, in between the uprights and over the crossbar. But we had a great time anyway at Associated Bank. They have been a great partner of ours from the very beginning, and we love that partnership. And if you love the Packers and you love great customer service and you'd like to have access to your direct deposit money up to 2 days early, then Associated Bank's got you on all 3 of those. They've got Packers checking, they've got the best customer service in the industry, and they've got early pay, which allows you to access that money up to 2 days early. Check out AssociatedBank.com to find out more about all those great things. If you're on hold, stay there. More of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. After every single green and gold game,
you can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
There's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score, too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Courtney Cronin, Peter Burns.
What Georgia had been doing over to Texas, it was the fact that Sark decided to make that move right before half. I thought that, hey, if you're going to go to Arch Manning, I get it, right? You need to have some mobility. Georgia's been crushing that offensive line, but regroup the proper way. It just seemed like a desperate move. And I know desperate times call for desperate measures, but I was surprised they made it that moment.
It didn't make sense to me given the timing. I understand the score in the game. You want to at least have points on the board at halftime. But then to go from Quinn Ewers, who was seeing goes, to Arch Manning, who in that situation, you're going to be overmatched. Like, it made sense, but I'm sorry, Steve Sarkisian's leaving the door open for anybody to criticize the quarterback play, a quarterback controversy, whatever you want to view what's going on at Texas these last couple weeks, because Quinn Ewers didn't play great last week.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
How would you like to own a jewelry store?
Kessler's Diamonds is an employee-owned company.
And Kessler's is growing. Are you the kind of person we're looking for?
Does it make you happy to make other people happy?
Are you a problem solver?
Would you like to wake up every morning knowing that you're going to help a lot of people find joy today?
Kessler's Diamonds is people serving people.
Keep in mind that Kessler's is owned by its employees. So let me ask you this. Are you a good enough leader that you can be an owner who leads other owners?
Don't worry, you don't have to know about diamonds. We can teach you about diamonds. But the people we're looking for aren't looking for a job.
Did someone pop into your head just now?
Do you think you might know who we're looking for?
Give that person a call.
Send them an email.
Tell them to walk into Kessler's Diamonds and say to the person who greets them,
I think I want to work here.
Welcome to Kessler's.
A fantastic place to buy jewelry and a wonderful place to work.
For the store nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Let's get back to the calls. God, I love this. This brings me such joy. And this guy. Jesse, are we bringing back that invitation at any point, or is that still mothballed?
He's got his own pod now.
This guy.
I mean, Tom Brenneman's doing things on the CW.
If John Gruden wanted to come on the show to talk football, John Gruden come on and talk football.
Yeah, let's get him on. Then you can do your Frank Caliendo. See how it goes.
I tell you what, man.
Tell you what, man. All right, let's get back to the calls. This guy, which is what started this sidetracking, has been on hold a long time. Let's get to him. It is Mike in Texas. Mike, you got the patience of Joe, buddy. How you doing?
Thanks. Actually, I hung up for a meeting and called back, and Jesse, helped me out there. So I've been waiting that long.
Great job, Jesse.
Appreciate your honesty, too. I mean, I was trying to give you credit.
Mike, do you think you deserve to go to the back of the line, or do you think you deserve to get pushed to the front?
Let's see what he has to say. I mean, that's what this really comes down to.
We'll be the judge.
Yeah, we'll judge that after he's done.
Nice.
All right.
No pressure.
So my negative is so the negative is the pressure that Love, the pressure that the Texans put on Love. I was not expecting that. But the positive is Love's reaction to that pressure. I mean, he reacted quickly. He made some good moves. Of course, that goes into the downside where sometimes, obviously he throws those interceptions and wondering, is that his natural tendency? Is that something that he's going to – I mean, Josh Allen, as someone, I guess Mark said that he has no turnovers this year. He's been playing 6 years. So, we have to be patient if that's what Love develops. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, Rodgers' natural inclination, natural tendency is to not throw interceptions. Favre got that under control, but then once, at some point in time, he just started doing it all the time. But then, of course, towards the end, he got better. So it's just, I guess the thing is, with Love, we don't know. Every year could be different. Yeah.
It's fair. Okay. Positive?
Positive was his reaction to the pressure. Love reacting quick, getting those quick strikes, that looking like a pro quarterback.
So, all right. So here's one of the things, and thanks for the call, Mike, and thanks for waiting so long. Tausch, how would you judge that performance?
Solid. Very solid.
Okay. Here's one, and I'm not the smart person who thought of this, so kudos to who mentioned this because I think they're right. What I have noticed, and it might have been Domofsky who noticed it first, that there has been, and maybe your guy Dan Orlovsky did too, Domofsky, Orlovsky, Piscataway, Saturday, that it appears that Love might be fading away, more frequently than he normally, like the fadeaway jumper type deal, which might go back to the knee injury from week 1 and it altering how he was throwing the ball. Again, that's a question that I'd like to ask Matt LaFleur if he sees that, so we'll talk to him today and whether or not that's the case or not. But I thought when I think it was Rob who said it, I thought, okay, I hadn't thought about that. Is that possible? You think that's part of this? Is that maybe his footwork or his mechanics have been affected by having to play a different way before, and now that he feels healthy, he's still bringing some of those bad habits into the way he's throwing the football?
Yeah, maybe,
currently.
but don't you feel like he threw some of those last year too? Like he's an off-platform. He is the way he can throw, and you see the sidearm when he's like tripping and falling. Like that's part of his game. So no, I don't buy that. I think it's much more the decision and maybe the confidence, some could say arrogance, of throwing into certain windows. And it's part of it is, boy, I don't know if I can do that. Let's see. Brett did that all the time, and most of the times it worked until it didn't. So, and I think Rodgers was always very hesitant to put the ball in those positions because he didn't want it. He was adamant about not throwing picks. Jordan's not at that point. And it's really, what's the old line on coaching? You get what you demand. How does that go?
You get what you emphasize. You also get what you tolerate.
There's your example. I mean, that's what you get. That's on Matt LaFleur. And I think if you watch the end of the half yesterday, it felt like there was maybe the first time, let's pull back here a little bit. Usually it's all rip, let's go, all gas, no brakes, and he had his foot on the brake pedal, and then he slammed the brakes on.
Timeouts.
It was not the aggressive nature, and part of it was he had just thrown a pick, or he had, maybe that was where he made the really bad decision. So there's this process that both guys have to kind of work through and go, what is going to be accepted, what is tolerated, and what is emphasized. We'll see, because right now I think everybody involved is like, man, we love what you're doing, but we have to eliminate these mistakes.
Yeah. We will kick off the 11 o'clock hour with more of your calls. So if you're on hold, stay there. 844-770-3776. What do you got in your hand there, old T?
Well, something new here from our friends at ESPN Disney. You already use the ESPN app to check scores and to catch up on the latest news for all your favorite teams and leagues. And now there's another new feature that makes using the app even more convenient. Introducing the Where to Watch feature on the ESPN app. An easy-to-use guide for sports fans to find where to watch any sporting event on the ESPN platforms and beyond. And Where to Watch is available on every screen on the ESPN app and on ESPN.com. And with 2 games going tonight on ABC and ESPN and ESPN Plus, it means the essential feature can become a new part of your daily sports routine. Learn more at ESPN.com/where-to-watch, or simply open up the ESPN app and explore the new Where to Watch feature for yourself.
The 11 o'clock hour begins in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away. And once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at MoTUSA.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Landworks is different because of customer service. From the crew to the salesperson to the admin team, you're in good hands with Landworks. Their sales and design teams are made up of horticulturists, licensed landscape architects, and passionate plant people. Their landscape architects and horticulture team members are also project managers. This means you'll have a single point of contact from initial design through completion of work. See their amazing work for yourself at landworkswisconsin.com.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Bruston Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
O'clock hour of Wilde Tausch begins now. And it begins with more of your calls. 844-770-3776. Now, this guy, Eric in Green Bay, he came out to the show on Friday. That was a nice surprise.
Potential Hoffer.
With the kiddos. And him and Jesse seem like they were longtime friends. Do you know him in real life?
I know him from real life in that he came here to our Madison studio a few months back and wanted to kind of sit in for the day. I thought Tausch was here that day. Maybe he wasn't, but he wanted to just kind of experience what we do behind the scenes, and so we got to know each other a bit that day. We took him to lunch.
Oh, where'd you go?
Right next door here, Vintage Brewing Company here in downtown Madison. I forgot. Did he buy me lunch or did I buy him lunch?
I think we have a pretty good guess on what happened there.
Shoot.
Let's talk to him now. He'll probably answer that. Green Bay, Eric, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. So just kind of finish that story. Old T was not in that day. Just like he was not in on Friday for the remote. And I did buy Jesse lunch at Vintage.
You bought Jesse lunch?
Wow.
Eric's a Hoffer.
Shocking.
Hoffit.
Yeah. Uh-huh. What do you got today? And Jesse's free around 12:15 if you're around.
Real Hoffer would double it up.
I was going to say I'm driving from Green Bay right now, so it might be more of a dinner, but I got you next time, Jesse.
Yeah, he'll take that too.
I'm free.
There you go.
All
so
right, Eric, what do you got?
We'll dive into positives and negatives. I'm not sure if any of these have been said so far. I was at a toddler tumble class prior to this, so tuning in a little bit late today. But one cool stat for the positive I read last night for my main positive, Daniel Whelan. He had 284 yards on 5 punts. That's a 56.8 yard gross average. That's the team's best single game punting average since 1945.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that was the juiced ball era of 1945.
Unlike that ball from the that Jesse tried to kick, I'm going to give Jesse some credit there too. I held that football. That was a rock. That there was no way anybody's kicking a field goal like that unless you're wearing steel-toed boots.
All right, excuses. Continue.
And then also just on the staying on the Daniel Whelan train, his hands on that game-winning kick for McManus, being able to scoop up the low snap, get that position in time was a heck of a play.
Owes it all to Rich Pisaccio.
He had a heck of a day. Daniel Whelan has been a great pickup. Great pickup. Goody.
As far as negatives, I think most of these have been said as far as pre-snap penalties, interceptions, a little suspect run defense. I was at the game on Sunday, and the thing I just kind of found a little bit more frustrating was, and this is a common theme, though, it's fourth quarter, we're on offense, limited time, we need a quiet crowd, and we're getting the Go Pack Go started. It looked like there was a little bit. Love had a kind of a hard time hearing and getting settled. Exactly. So
wave and roll out the barrel.
Hey,
Eric, was there a ton
you got Bill Jartsy on the intercom telling everybody to be quiet?
Love Jartsy.
People.
Screaming at people. How many Texans fans, or was it a pretty clean whiteout yesterday?
It was fairly clean. I would say there was, like, within our section, there was a handful of Texans fans, but the whiteout did a lot better than I expected. So it was cool. It was a cool environment, and getting the dub with the new uniforms was a good finishing touch.
Yep. I agree with you on that. I disagree with you on the football, Eric. Thanks for the call. I was surprised because walking to Green Bay game day for the pregame show at the Tundra Trio, I was surprised. There was definitely predominantly white clothes, but I saw a lot of like green jerseys and yellow hoodies, and I was curious how it was going to look. But once I got in the stadium and I looked around, it wasn't unanimous, obviously, but it was way better. And the Texans fans stood out because they were either in red or dark blue mainly. And frankly, there was not many. I thought there would be actually more Texans fans because the bucket list nature of coming to Lambeau Field and how infrequently the Texans come here. So good on the fans for keeping the red and blue out of the stadium and more white.
I just don't think there's many Texans fans, like, at all. Like, Colts fans, when they invaded, the Lions fans have existed, the Vikings fans have existed. Like, I just don't think there's many Texans fans.
I think if I'm ranking lowest fan volume, both LA teams are tops. Both.
Jacksonville,
London. They got a good little base in London, but they're not great either. But yeah, I think Houston's in that top. If I'm power ranking, and I'm not, it's not power ranking at Tuesday. I agree. I think the Texans are in that mix. And part of it is history, right? I think the Carolina Panthers
around 20 years, yeah.
I think the Carolina Panthers are in that equation just because they don't have the same history and the same, gravitas when it comes to sports teams. So,
why would you be a big Texans fan? Even if you're from Houston, like your other team left, I'm sure you became a Cowboys fan when they left.
That's a tricky deal. Yeah, and then if you're a Houston fan, you probably like the Titans because that's the old team, and
they haven't won anything.
It's a tricky deal.
I don't think they've been to an AFC Championship game yet. So,
yeah,
it's an interesting theory. Let's get to one more call before the break because we got a lot more calls to get to before we run our show. Let's go to JJ in Dodgeville. JJ, good morning. Welcome to Wilde Tausch. How are you?
Guys, how are you doing?
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to remember what I called for, but
it's been a while.
My problem is I didn't buy Jesse lunch. So
well, if you would have done that, you'd probably get fast pass.
Fast passes are available for those who want to buy me lunch. Yes,
I think that's a reason. Normally, I would say we can't do that. That is totally reasonable.
Isn't that what we call like payola?
Yeah, I don't know if that's allowed. JJ, so what do we got today? What's your positive and negative?
Okay. So the original thought I had was Eric Wilson and the defense and the young guys that are, I put it as they're instinctive players as opposed to, I'm going to say it, Quay Walker, who is ultra athletic, but he's out of position sometimes. And even though they lost Quay Walker, defense
played great. Yeah, defense played great even with Quay being out. Yep.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of positives. the kicker's going to be good until he misses his next kick, but that's how it works.
That is how it works, yep.
And
JJ, before I let you go, what's your thoughts on? We've talked a lot about Jordan Love and Favre and interceptions. Where's your head at when it comes to Jordan Love through these first 7 games?
I think he should wear the number 8 because Favre was 4, Rodgers was 12. I put him right in the middle.
I like that. I like that. That's good.
But I think he's still learning. I hope it gets better that, tones it down a little bit. But when you got games, that are back and forth, you got to kind of do what you got to do.
All right. Well, thanks, JJ. I think this is the fun part of this, too, is it's not going to just be, boom, he's an MVP. There's a process to get there, and he is way ahead of any curve that I think if we look back at this last year when we're 2-5, if you'd have told me that we're worried about him being too much Brett Favrean, I'd think y'all are nuts. But that's where we're at, and I get it because he is trending in that direction, and there's a lot of great things, but we can't live in today's NFL. You can't. Brett Favre would not have been able to beat Brett Favre. They would not have let him throw 20 some odd picks a couple seasons. It just, you can't do that in today's NFL and be successful. So reining that in, but letting him be Jordan and letting him grow. That's where we're at. I'll take a Tito's handmade vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch, root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. Stack a spicy bloody, salt the rim of a Tito Rita, or take home the win with a Tito's and whatever you want. Brandon McManus, whatever you wanted, you're calling the game. You change up your roster or wash that lucky jersey as long as you make Tito's your first-round bottle pick. Whose house? Oh, it's Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. Crafted to be savored responsibly. We'll finish up. I don't know how many more calls we got left on there, old boy.
I see 5 on hold.
So we
here,
got to roll.
We're
going to get to you. We got 5 callers left. We're going to get to you. I don't think we're going to do trivia today. I'm going to make an executive decision. No trivia. We'll get to break. We'll come back with more of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. Every big pitch.
It's gone! Francisco Lindor!
Every big hit.
It is gone! Ohtani!
Every big play.
It's gone! It's a grand slam! Thomas!
ESPN Milwaukee is your home for the hottest action on the diamond this baseball postseason.
It is out of here! There's the home run for Judge!
Tune in all postseason long on the way to the Fall Classic, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming on the Wisconsin On Demand app.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athletes of the Week are the Divine Savior Holy Angels High School varsity golf team, winning state for the second year in a row. In the state final tournament, the best 4 scores belong to Ava Resch, a junior, 2 freshmen, Addison Resch and Julia Kruger, but was led all season long by sophomore Zoe Grinowitz, who had a 75.4 scoring average. Junior Ava Resch did finish top 10 individually at state, and it was Zoe Grinowitz finishing 5th place. It was her back-to-back 77 cards that helped Divine Savior Holy Angels win that back-to-back state championship. Congratulations again to the Divine Savior Holy Angels High School varsity girls golf team for their second straight state championship.
I'm Rick.
I'm Sarah. And I'm Monica.
We're hoping to meet you in Kenosha where I-94 meets Highway 50.
On the southwest corner, you'll see a brand new building. And it's huge.
Kessler's Diamonds is known throughout the Midwest for our amazing selection of engagement rings.
The sparkle of our diamonds. Our lifetime trade-up policy on natural diamond stud earrings.
The construction of our diamond tennis bracelets.
Our incredibly customer-friendly pricing. And the strongest jewelry warranty in the entire world.
She's not making that up. We're famous for our warranty.
Read it to them, Rick.
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Kessler's is 100% employee-owned. Walk through our doors and you'll be greeted by one of the owners. And we can do whatever it takes to make you happy.
Kessler's Diamonds is at the southwest corner of I-94 and Highway 50 in Kenosha. Come see us.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising. Like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time. A time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Before we get to more calls, I know we've gotten a few questions about this. Who was it, Jesse? Don in Sun Prairie?
Yes,
who
he just called a minute ago now.
So here's why the Packers got the ball at the 25-yard line.
I bet that rule changes this week, too.
After Fairbairn booted it out of bounds. So they enforced the penalty on the kickoff, the J.J. Enagbare 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So he kicks off from the 50. But under these new NFL kickoff, dynamic kickoff rules, you get the ball 25 yards from wherever you kicked it. So if Fairbairn kicks it out of the end zone for the touchback, it's at the 30, because that's what touchbacks are, new kickoff. But if he kicks it out of bounds, which he clearly did on purpose, it's 25 yards from where they kicked it. Since they were kicking at the 50, 25 yards is the 25-yard line. That is what we like to call a loophole. And they took advantage of it, kind of like Oregon in their game against Ohio State. They found a loophole, and they utilized it to their advantage. So the 25-yard line is why the ball started.
Yeah, that rule will be
is
changed.
Sketchy.
Just like the Oregon rule got changed the next week. I don't know if the NFL and the bureaucracy that comes with that can handle that quickly, but they should, because it's a dumb rule. It is.
Let's go back to the phones, 844-770-3776. Let's talk to Jim in Saukville. Jim, good morning. How you doing today?
Just fine. I've learned not to cover two issues, but I'll just say with regards to the interceptions from with regards to Love, the most concern I have is just the question of vision and not seeing defenders in terms of taking a risk or just not being accurate. I think he can work on that. The third one, vision, I'm not so sure that can be fixed. But my question to you guys is this. Given the scheming in which they're seemingly not really blitzing but dropping a couple guys but still running 4. Is that something they can do on an ongoing basis? Isn't there some risk to dropping like Preston Smith? Isn't that something other teams will eventually prepare for? Is that something we can really stick to?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yes, you can stick to it. I think you have to make sure you don't get caught in a position where it's predictable and you don't know where it's coming from. Because from an O-line standpoint, you have to protect those inside. You're always protecting inside out, and the goal is to get your guys to squeeze down. If you mug, which is walking a linebacker up into those A and B gaps, which is right next to the center, the A gaps and the B gaps right in the guard, you have to squeeze or kind of condense your protection. If you don't have 2 backs or a tight end, you can't let somebody just have a direct line. So you have to do that, and that puts a lot of pressure. So if you have 7 or 8 guys up, you can't run your normal stuff. You have to at least account for that. Now, if you can figure it out and dial it up, you're going to have some big play opportunities because you don't have safeties back and you're covering one-on-one. And you have to trust that Jair can handle that, and if it's Nixon or whoever it is. So you could end up in a position where you're asking Preston Smith to cover Justin Jefferson. Now, luckily, we saw that a little bit last year. That was not ideal. We have not seen that this year, and that is not obviously that's what the offense will look to try and find that advantage. And you better believe now that that's on film, guys, you put a lot. I can promise you this. You put a lot of time in on blitz pickup, walkthroughs, jog-throughs. It is what coaches and coordinators spend an inordinate amount of time on because it gets your blank beat. If you don't have answers to that problem, you're going to continue to see that test. And eventually you'll have to figure it out. And if you don't, Hafley just keeps running it. And you put a lot of pressure on an opposing offensive staff trying to figure out where everybody is and where they're coming from.
Yeah, what I loved about it, though, is that Jeff Hafley evolves. It's not we're just going to run our stuff all the time. That is something that he took from watching Brian Flores. They had not had 8 guys up at the line of scrimmage before yesterday. That was not something that he was doing regularly.
I don't think they felt like they needed to.
Well, and that's another part of what I like about him is that he realized that they needed to do something different because just rushing 4 was not getting him home. We agree on that, even when it wasn't a mobile quarterback.
I think obviously yesterday you saw a couple of big plays early to their tight end, and that's been kind of a weak spot. But I think yesterday was a game 4 and 5 would have probably sufficed. But the fact that this whole idea of simulated pressure, you'll hear that kind of like complimentary football is everywhere this year. I don't know if there's like a coaches convention that gets together and says, let's use these buzzwords, and then we'll just wear out the media with these buzzwords, because I have heard complimentary football, and it's an obscene amount. Simulated pressures is that next big thing, and it's smart because it forces you again to change the dynamics of what you're doing protection-wise, and it doesn't allow you to run everything you want. You can't just line up all the time and say, our 4 will beat your 5. You're playing into the offense's hands when you do that.
And I love the stunts and the twists that they did. There was one where Rashawn Gary started on the far left side of the formation, and he ended up on the far right side and got a pressure out of it. I know that takes a long time to get over there, but again, it was something different that I had not seen them do. And Jeff Hafley isn't afraid to do that. It's not just, we're just going to run our stuff and it's going to work. He doesn't operate that way. Let's get to another call, 844-770-3776. Let's go down to Illinois and talk to Mo. Mo, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, fellas? Happy Victory Monday. A lot of people have already discussed a lot of different positives and negatives, so I'd like to kind of look at this team holistically. But first, I do want to give a shout-out to Brian Gutekunst. I know, I don't know if you guys have mentioned it earlier in the program, but, last Sunday was kind of alarming, especially hearing Matt LaFleur kind of defend Braden Narvison and say that he still has a lot of confidence in him. Now, that may very well be coach speak, but the idea that Goody got rid of him and picked up Brandon McManus, that just sends a clear message to the team that they need to execute, they need to perform. There's a standard of winning this year, especially when you're in a title window like they are right now. So I have a lot of respect for Goody, who I have been very critical of in the past. But if we look at this Packers team as a whole, next week they have Jacksonville, and you never underestimate your opponent. You need to play every team and have respect for them, and they need to beat Jacksonville, and I'm sure they will. So that'll get them to 6-2. But I'm circling the game after that at home against Detroit at 3:25 p.m. I think we're going to learn a lot about this Green Bay Packers team, especially as we get closer to these divisional games, like in 2 weeks against the Lions. I'm very interested to see how they come out because this Packers team is fighting for the number 1 seed. They are fighting for the NFC North Division title. And yesterday wasn't the cleanest of games, but they squeezed out a W, and that's all that matters because last year they probably lose a game like that. So I think if they clean up, the mental errors, pre-snap penalties, get back on track with decision-making, especially with Love's interceptions, this team could get scary, dangerous, and it all matters about how you're playing as you get into December and January. So I'm super excited about this team, and I can't wait to see what they got, especially in 2 weeks against those Dan Campbell Lions.
Yeah, great call, Mo. We appreciate you. Yeah, look, I agree with everything he said. I would add this, though, just as context. I don't think Matt LaFleur had confidence in Braden Narveson. No. I think he felt like he had to say that because he's the coach. And then, obviously, he talked to Goody afterward, and Goody said, we're going to get Brandon McManus in here, and if he is who we think he is during the tryout, we're going to make a change. Because remember, on Monday then, it was, is there a Domofsky's question about making a kicker change? Well, I wouldn't say that right now, but I might say it tomorrow was the part that he didn't say. So, it worked exactly how you wanted it to. The game came down to a game-winning kick, and the dude who's been there before, including in a Super Bowl, made the kick. And I don't know if maybe Braden Narveson makes it too. The real mystery for me is that there were 2 55-ish folks that went past the Tundra Trio during Green Bay game day. I think a husband and wife wearing Narveson jerseys. And I found myself wondering if they were his parents, his wife's parents, his in-laws, because there can't be many people coming to the game on Sunday after Braden Narveson is no longer on the roster wearing custom Braden Narveson jerseys. And it made me sad that maybe it was his family because we were in the middle of a segment. And then by the time we were done with the segment... You're telling me
that wouldn't be bring them up on stage? That would be as good a content...
They weren't in the Tundra Trio. They were in the parking lot.
I understand. Listen, I've been to the Trio enough. You can wave them over. Say, hey.
They had their backs to us. That's how I saw that their jerseys said Narveson on the back and not Matt Snyder.
Okay.
Number 44. Anyway.
I would have chased him down. You'll run after him.
Scotty McGarrahan, great reference.
Actually, but he wasn't 44. I think he was
43, so good work.
Close.
Instead, speaking of great references, let's talk about Fortria.
Indeed. Fortria, get a little extra spending cash, eh? You got a lot of stuff coming up the holidays. You're going to need a little extra cash. Fortria's got you covered, and if you're a young lady currently breastfeeding, ages 18 to 45, that BMI of 18 to 35, you can get a nice little chunk of change. 1 stay, 5 nights, 5 follow-ups, and a phoner. $10,125 for your time and participation. That's a good one. In another study, if you're not breastfeeding, healthy adults ages 18 to 60, body mass index 18 to 32. That study is 1 stay, 14 nights, 11 follow-ups. $13,006 for your time and participation. Head over to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortria, Fortrea, ClinicalTrials.com.
Few more calls on hold, so stay there. We'll finally get to you next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Tri-City National Bank offers a full suite of personal and business banking products at 28 convenient locations. Open your account today at the community bank that was voted Milwaukee's best bank. Learn more at tcnb.com.
It's the 3rd straight victory for the Green Bay Packers as they take care of the Texans 24-22 on a walk-off field goal from new guy Brandon McManus. Texan stud C.J. Stroud was held to just 86 yards passing by the Packers defense. Matt LaFleur thought they were outstanding.
To hold a good team like that to 22 points, considering a couple of those drives started deep in our own territory, I thought we gave Hafley a game ball for the defensive performance.
The Packers now get ready to take on the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
This has been your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank.
First time building your own nest? Call Tri-City. We'll do the rest. Our hometown lenders will put you at ease. Your home building process will be a breeze. Tri-City National Bank. Equal housing lender. NMLS 433891.
It started with a prediction.
Go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. At Fields, we have a great selection of Range Rovers, Defenders, and Discoveries. Every model in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery. Stop by or visit online.
Plus, you'll become a member of the Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and gourmet coffee service, all at no charge. Integrity and customer satisfaction will always be the force that drives our business. To put it simply, Fields matters because you matter. At Land Rover Waukesha. Go to landroverwaukesha.com.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
I couldn't stop talking about it to my family and friends. My knees are my trouble spot. But for me to tell them now that I'm doing so much better, they were amazed, and I've been amazed.
QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies. Yes, it is amazing how these non-surgical treatments deliver joint pain relief for patients like Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor.
Each week, I just started noticing that I could sleep and not have pain. I could play pickleball. I could do a CrossFit exercise routine.
QC Kinetics revitalizes your joints so you can move again without the pain pills or invasive surgery.
I'm 60 years old and I want to stay competitive as long as I can. And QC has allowed me to do that. They did me right and really made a difference in my life.
Book your free consultation with QC Kinetics today and experience the difference for yourself.
I like to go, move.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Calls of the day, Dennis, Jason, and Jamon. Let's go to Dennis first in Plover. Dennis, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm folding laundry and making supper.
Making supper? It's 11:41.
Crock pot, probably.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Some crock pot, maybe.
I'm getting a jump. I'm getting a jump on it.
Okay, enjoy your dinner at
Jason,
2:15.
Did you see the muskie I caught?
I did, and you didn't get puked on at the game, so it's been a good week for you.
I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, I have a question with about 2 minutes left. The Houston made a half-hearted attempt to get a first down, and then they kicked the field goal with it was like almost still 2 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And I turned to my buddies that I was watching the game with. I said, the Packers are going to win this game. And I'm usually a Debbie Downer, so that's not usually me.
Was that a coaching error? Should they have tried harder to get a first down?
Well, so the Texans' mistake was throwing the pass, as Tausch mentioned, on 3rd and whatever that was, 3rd and 15, instead of running and making the Packers use their last time out. Like, look, and thanks for the call, Dennis, and congrats on the Muskie. Look, Tausch, I'm not sure that it makes a world of difference. I think there's a good chance the Packers still go down and score and still end up winning the game on the game-winning field goal. But that was a mistake by a young head coach who the pass that he chose, even if it's completed, has his guy going out of bounds. Now, if they get, and I don't know if he was deep enough for a first down anyway, but that was a difference maker, and it allowed the Packers to have one last timeout still in their pocket.
Yeah, it was a dumb play, and if you're going to do that, first off, I don't think they should have felt great about just kicking the field goal. I don't think they did. That's where if it's 2nd and 10, do a rollout, do something where you can get that first down. And actually, Romo, who I thought had a tough game from an analyst standpoint, I didn't think he was very good. But he did say something I thought was really good at the end. If you get that first down, don't go in the end zone. Slide down and go and then kick the field goal with no time left and get off, because you know at the end of these games this is how it works. And I'm sure Houston would have liked to have done that. They had so much success running the football. So I thought it was a good concept initially, but after you got stuffed and it was now 2nd and 11 or 2nd and 10, I think you have to do something different on 2nd down there. And
right,
if you end up taking a sack, it's not a big deal. You know, Fairbairn's is a really good kicker, and he nailed it from a lot farther earlier. But you can't do what you did there. You have to at least take the timeout out of the pocket and put a little more pressure on Green Bay, because I think if Green Bay gets in games with really good teams and they're in that same position where they only need a field goal to win a game with almost a minute and a half, minute 45, and a timeout, they're going to feel like they're going to win that game 9 out of 10 times, or at least position themselves for their kicker to win the game. And now that we have a veteran kicker, I think you even feel that much better about it. Houston gave us some really good opportunities with how they approached that.
Here's what I thought. I thought watching them that they had come to the realization that they were not going to succeed in the passing game. Period.
Wow,
and they had every reason not to think that.
That
right?
was very apparent the way Stroud was firing his helmet. And he looked like someone had taken his dog. Like, his body language sucked. He knew his lunch was cooked.
He did have 2 completions on that drive that picked up first downs. And they were really bad on 3rd down throughout the course of the game. They were 1 of 9 going into that drive. That was a 6.5-minute drive. So they did take off a bunch of time, but then worked
out perfect for us.
Right, but they went down to they got to the 12-yard line, and then, as you mentioned, Mixon gets stopped by Enigbare and Cooper for a 2-yard loss. So now you're back to the 14. Now you run it again, and Mixon loses 3 more yards. Now it's 3rd and 15 from the 17. The Packers have used 2 timeouts. There's still 1:52 left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody in the building knew the way they had played and given the clock situation they were going to run, and they couldn't get it done there. And it leaves plenty of time for the Packers to win.
Yeah, and a little reminder, and I know Matt LaFleur is an avid podcast listener, if you ever get in that position and it gets to be 2nd and 3 or 4, let's say Mixon breaks that first one, you only have a couple timeouts, jump off sides. Hopefully their coaching staff takes the first down, and then you at least can reset it, because the last thing you want to do is get it where it's 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, 3rd and short, where they can then go through with the getting the first down, suck the rest of the clock out and kick it, force their hand at the end of those games. And that's where you could tell the Packers, I think, are much more well-versed in some of that preparation as far as getting off the field and doing some of those things, and Houston was not yesterday.
Let's go to Jason in Minnesota. Jason, thanks for holding on. Good morning.
Hey, guys, I've been on hold so long. Jeff Hafley got a head coaching job in the league.
That's the negative from yesterday's show, yep.
So last time we talked, I had been pressure washing the barn, and
That's really good sound effect. Great
last
sound
time we
effect.
talked, it was after the Minnesota game, and I was pressure washing the barn, so we had that little bit going, which was nice. Here's what I came to learn later that day. We talked on a Monday after we took the L to Minnesota. I did some laundry and I discovered you might be as shocked and dismayed as I was to learn. I found 7-year-old Harvey's gold undies in the dirty laundry at the bottom of the basket. And he got home. I picked him up from school and I said, Harvey, did you not wear your gold underwear yesterday for the game? And he said, no, I wore the green ones. I couldn't find the gold ones. I said, dude, before I went out to start pressure washing and listen to the pregame, thanks, Wilde, for joining the pregame, your gold ones are in the dirty laundry. You got to put them on for the game because we got the 2 wins when he had his golden underwear on. Well, we got the loss in Minnesota. We learned that lesson. So the following week, who did we play? Was it the Rams?
Indeed.
I can't remember. Anyway, the next 2 wins. So he got sent off. MEA weekend is a thing here. He went off to his grandparents. And I said, did you pack his Jaden Reed jersey and his golden underwear? And she said, I packed his Jaden Reed jersey, but I couldn't find the golden underwear. So before I drove down to get him and we went to watch the game yesterday, I got the golden underwear. We got him changed in the car in the parking lot of the Park Tavern, which is a Packer bar in St. Louis Park in Minnesota. Got in there, got out with the dub. I think we're good for the rest of the season, provided we don't lose the gold underwear, boys.
Yeah, you're going to definitely want to wash those on the gentle cycle. Hang dry them. Do not dry them in the dryer, and make sure you know where they are at all times. That was thanks, Jason, for the call. That was unexpected. I'll leave it at that. Let's get one more call in before the end of the show. It's been a weird day, hasn't it? Or is it just me? That guy from Astico too. That call. That was an interesting call too. Jesse, how's your screening going today? Would you say?
Been a busy day back here, I'd say.
All right, let's finish on a high note. Let's talk to J-Mon in Dallas. J-Mon, you're our last caller of the day. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Well, it depends how this call goes, quite frankly.
Well, I got a few positives and a negatives.
Be great.
Positive like last week. Last week I said any day you wake up and hear that the Packers won, it's always a positive. Mm-hmm. One less thing to have to worry about throughout the week, waking up and knowing that the team won. Also going in and beating Houston, which we all know was a tough opponent. Mm-hmm. And we went in and was able to slow them down, which can't stop any good team. You got to figure a way to slow them down, which I think we did a terrific job. Everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud, and we was able to contain him as much as we can. Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon. He's an all-pro running back. So, forcing them to run the ball, which we know isn't their game, I think also played a good – I think we did good of forcing them to do that. One of the negatives I do have, I don't know, I think maybe just turnovers. We have to get rid of those come playoff time. A lot of people are saying the Jordan Love Favre comparison. I don't know. I think it's just Jordan Love. I think that's who he is. In Utah, he had these problems. I think it's just him, which I love about him because we didn't really get that at Aaron Rodgers. It was always, 17's open here, or if it's not open, here's Aaron Jones in the backfield, which is okay, but, we like excitement. We want big plays sometimes, so costs us sometimes, but...
So, J-Mon, I'm glad you brought that up because we're almost out of show. And so let me ask Tausch this question, and thanks for the call. So, Tausch, would you rather, and it's not like Aaron Rodgers didn't have lots and lots and lots and lots of exciting throws. But if it leads to the Jaden Reed catch where he throws it into triple coverage and Jaden Reed makes that play, right? If it leads to those types of plays, does that make you more willing to live with the times that the ball gets picked off? Because you said it yourself, and you were right. There were fans during the Aaron Rodgers era who would say he needs to throw more interceptions because it proves he's taking more chances. He never takes chances. Are you willing to live with that if it's going to lead to those fun, exciting, get up off your couch screaming and yelling plays, if that's what's going to continue to be the case?
I have no problem with some interceptions. What I have problems with is understanding where you're at in a game flow. If that happens in the third quarter, like Rodgers' pick last night, cost him the game.
Yeah.
He threw a bad pick when you're up 9 understand what you need to do in a game. If you are going to be in a shootout and you need to make these big boy throws, you have to do it. If you're in a game where your defense is dominating and you're running the football, you need to just understand what do I need to do to win these games. And that's why I'm not as interested in these monster stat lines. What does your quarterback need to do? What is demanded of you to win that football game? Yesterday's game plan should have been, don't make any mistakes. Houston's offense can't do it. You knew that early on. Yeah. And the only way they can get in it is by giving them short fields. That's the only way they scored any points yesterday, was on short fields, except for their last field goal.
You're right. All right, we'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This Wilde Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. After every single green and gold game,
you can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
There's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for 60 months.
Visit PellaWI.com.
Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text GIVE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text GIVE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GIVE to 200-300. That's GIVE to 200-300. GIVE to 200-300.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
All right, we got Matt LaFleur coming up at 2 o'clock today, a little earlier than usual. And I'm sure we're going to talk about Jordan Love and his interception numbers. But Tausch, as we say goodbye for today, I go back to the conversation I had with him. My recommendation is don't worry. Be happy. He is working his way through the development of a franchise quarterback, and he's pressing the boundaries. He's trying new things. Sometimes it works. A lot of times it works. Sometimes it's an interception. But this is part of the process. And when I call him Brett Favre for some of his interceptions, I don't see that as a colossal negative. I don't.
Okay, so they're playing Detroit in the NFC Championship game.
Then it's a problem.
So I'm fine with you developing, but just pick it up.
You said it. You got to know when the moments are. You just said it in the last segment, and you're right about that. In some of those moments, you can't take the chance. He had some moments yesterday where it was okay that he took the chance, and it didn't work out. They found a way to win in the end. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatment